Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this morning's June 15th meeting of the Mojave County Board of Supervisors. We're going to start our meeting this morning with invocation led by Pastor Mike Bell. And if you'd remain standing, Supervisor Borelli will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Let us pray. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, this same God that brought water from a rock for Moses to a parched and thirsty land and could do the same for us today. Almighty God, praise, glory, and honor belong to you, for you are our Creator, Sustainer, and Savior, and it is for your name's sake that we call upon you today. Let your mighty name be glorified by what this board decides today. We ask that you give your hand of blessing on this board, this meeting, and upon the whole of our county. Protect all its workers and its inhabitants, and may this be a place, one of blessing and prosperity. Bless us now, Almighty God. In the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, please face the flag of a country that has brought more prosperity to the world than mankind has ever known. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for you. Carry on.
Board of Supervisors may by motion recess into executive session to receive legal advice from the board's attorneys on any item contained in this agenda pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A3, 4, and 7. Looking for a motion and action to call for an executive session to be held on July 6, 2026 at 9 a.m.
So moved.
For that motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Ayes appear to have it, do have it, so ordered. Official business to come before the board. Item number 1, discussion of pending or contemplated litigation claims and demands. Attorney Davis.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Nothing to report.
Good morning. Thank you, sir. Move to item number 2, committee and or legislative reports. Supervisor Letman, are you with us this morning?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I have 3 items. First, I do want to apologize for my absence. I'm kind of in a recovery mode from pretty bad illness, but I'm getting better. 3 items I have. First of all, 2 Fridays ago, I was able to attend the Mojave County Library's family event for America 250 here at the library in Bullhead City. And I just want to say kudos to our county librarian, Jake Barillo, and his staff over there at that library. A job well done. It was great attendance. It was a fun event. It was a really nice job. Second, our Flags of the Revolution exhibit is over at the Bullhead Library, and I'm pleased to announce that, of course, it's being taken down this week and moved to the Kingman Library. And again, regarding the whole exhibit, great job by the staff. Excellent work. And I want to also include the facilities team. They were really excellent in putting those flags up. Finally, I was going to ask if Director Latosky could briefly come up and give us a report on a recent special meeting of the Mojave County Airport Authority. There's no action to be taken on this at all, but I thought maybe a summary for the other board members and the public would be in order. I understand there were a number of items, and hopefully Director Latosky can keep this brief and to the point.
Sure. As a part of Supervisor Letman's report, do you want to come up really briefly, Director Latosky?
Good morning, Chairman Lingenfelter, members of the board, Supervisor Letman. Following the May 18th, 2026 agenda item by our Board of Supervisors directing the directors of the MCAA bring a number of items of requests and report, I do want to provide the following updates. The MCAA board at their special meeting on May 29th did motion to pass to develop a report analyzing the agreement with Park West Development. The Park West Development Agreement does include several financial elements to it in the sense of Park West receiving a 30% revenue share. A revenue share representing the net revenues of any MCAA costs in the context of developing properties. So there will be a report forthcoming. Also, the board did, our directors did establish a June 3rd close of business deadline for the forensic audit. That has come and passed, and we are currently, through our board president, communicating with the forensic auditor on a definitive timetable to produce the forensic audit. When that is made available, that will be made available directly to the president as per the board's motion, as well as an operational plan will be developed within 60 days of the president's acceptance of the forensic audit as final. The board, the MCAA board, also directed that the analysis and report of the contract purchase agreement with Signature Aviation be performed. That analysis and report will also include due diligence that went into the fuel farm purchase, revenue and expenses of the agreement, and documentation of the spill prevention control and countermeasure plan, and all related inspection documents that may define the fuel farm condition. Furthermore, for additional reports, the MCAA board directed an analysis and report regarding the financial plan for the design financing of the fuel farm replacement over the projected operational life be performed, as well as a report that includes all current and pending FAA grants showing the grant proceeds and expenses related to grant parameters. The MCAA board further directed that a report be prepared summarizing the opinion of the MCAA Tax Council on federal position and MCAA General Counsel on the state position regarding the standing of MCAA as a nonprofit organization. And then lastly, the MCAA board directed to develop an analysis of the property designated as APN 213-32-007. This is an FAA encumbered aeronautical use parcel, and the board essentially directed that an analysis be performed of the development priorities for this parcel. With that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Director. Supervisor Lettman, anything else to report?
No, that was well done. I thank you very much, Director Lutowski. Also, I think we should thank Director Green, our CFO, for her attendance, participation in the event, and that's all I have for today.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Gould?
Nothing today, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Borelli?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Last Friday was at the legislature, sine die, which means session ended. And in that, the governor's budget, which he signed the budget, this was in it. It was a full tax conformity that was part of the big, beautiful bill, which meant no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and tax relief for our seniors. Also, there was a property tax cut for disabled vets. That's a whole new formula that goes into effect in January 27. So there's some huge wins in the budget that was negotiated by the Republican delegation, the majority. And of course, I'm sure our legislative delegation is going to show up here soon and give us another brief on all the other things that was in the budget. That's it.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Martin?
Yes. Since we last met, I attended the Dolan Springs Community Council meeting, the Meadview Neighborhood Watch meeting, the Dolan Springs Water Board meeting, and we met with, the county manager and I met with NPS officials in Nevada so we could actually see the equipment that we are anticipating purchasing to facilitate that launch at South Cove. Subsequently, I contacted NPS because I had received reports and went down and looked at it actually about the launch, and people were having to back up 100 yards to get to the water. So I brought that to the attention of NPS, and 2 days later they had a tractor down there, and that situation has been alleviated. So that's a great thing. Lastly, I spent a lot of time up there. People who live in these outlying areas are getting sick and tired of seeing these places that are run down, rat infested, and it's coming over into their properties, and they're upset with this. And they have been calling me, and I'm thankful for that. And I went up there several times. I've taken a lot of pictures of properties that I'm going to work with developmental services on, because these places are absolutely unhealthy. And if you drive up there at night past some of these places, the rats and mice are everywhere. And the problem is they just don't stay on those areas. They go over to the neighbors. And it's a serious problem, and we're going to address it. We're going to make it happen. So that's it.
Thank you, Supervisor. For those that are following the Wallapai Valley Basin INA legal proceedings, just give you a quick update. Last week, I think it was Thursday, Arizona Department of Water Resources has appealed Maricopa Superior Court Judge Scott Blaney's ruling. So that's ongoing in the appeals court. Mojave County has filed an amicus. There's been a couple of other amicus briefs that have been filed in our favor on that case. Last Thursday, appeals court granted a stay on the irrigation freeze. So until the case is fully played out, the irrigation freeze on any additional irrigation in the Wallapai Basin remains in place. And that's a win for the area. And that's all I've got. County Manager's report.
The only item I have to report this morning, Chairman and Supervisors, is I have had some discussions with the Mojave College and the City of Kingman regarding the yellow bus line. It's slated by the city to be terminated on August 1st. I have had the opportunity to have the discussions with them to look for opportunities for some cost sharing going forward. So those discussions continue. We anticipate some direction, or at least some idea as to what our options are, hopefully by the termination date of the line. So we have another follow-up scheduled next week. So thank you.
Thank you, Manager. We have one proclamation today. Proclamation declaring June 2026 as Elder Abuse Awareness Month in Mojave County. Looking for a motion to approve that, or I could read into the record, whatever the board's pleasure.
So moved.
You've heard that motion in a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes appear to have it, do have it so ordered. From WACOG, we have Connie Fulkerson here. She'd like to have a photo with the Board of Supervisors, if we could do that really quick. Connie, if you want to come up. Thank you. Do you want to say anything really fast before we do the photo? No? Oh. We have one presentation this morning. We have a presentation update on the Northern Arizona Good Jobs Network grant presented by Tammy Ersenbach of Economic Development. Oh, I'm sorry. Michelle, is that going to be you today? Come on up, Michelle. Thank you.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The floor is yours.
Awesome. Good morning, Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisors, Manager Strahl. Thank you for the opportunity to present Mojave County Economic Development's Phase 3 outcomes for the Northern Arizona Good Jobs Network grant program. Today I'll be sharing how the grant helped us expand workforce development, opportunities in the manufacturing and trades throughout the implementation of the Interplay Learning Platform. This initiative focused on upskilling incumbent workers already in the field and reskilling independent workers seeking new career pathways. More importantly, it allowed us to strengthen regional partnerships. Workforce shortages in manufacturing and trades continue to be the most pressing economic issue across northern Arizona. Employers consistently report difficulty finding qualified workers with the technical skills needed to meet the current operational demands. In fact, 78% of the surveyed manufacturers during Phase 2 reported difficulty in filling those positions. At the same time, we are seeing an aging workforce nearing retirement, creating an even greater urgency to build a sustainable talent pipeline for the future. Businesses are reporting gaps between the training program and the industry needs. These challenges reinforce the importance of creating flexible, accessible training solutions that align directly with the employer needs. Programs like Interplay Learning, apprenticeships, the Advanced Manufacturing Training Center, short-term credential programs have gained traction across the region to build a sustainable talent pipeline. The Northern Arizona Good Jobs Network created a strong regional framework for collaboration among employers, educators, workforce agencies, and economic development organizations. The grant allowed us to focus on several important objectives: increasing the workforce training and employment opportunities, supporting the incumbent worker upskilling, assisting the unemployed individual seeking reskilling opportunities, and bridging the gap between employers and the workforce systems. Mojave County Economic Development served as the local facilitator throughout the entire project. Our role focused on bringing together industry, education, workforce partners to address skilled labor shortages in the manufacturing and trades. Some of the key activities included conducting employer outreach during Phase 2 surveys to better understand the workforce needs, facilitating the monthly manufacturing, workforce, and trades roundtable meetings, and building stronger partnerships with Local First Arizona, Mojave College, Arizona at Work, Arizona Vocational Rehabilitation, and the Chamber of Commerce's. To address the workforce challenges, we researched software and then implemented the Interplay Learning platform as our primary training solution. Interplay Learning provided immersive, video-based modules that specifically designed for the manufacturing and trades occupation. The platform allowed participants to virtually practice real-world scenarios in a video environment while learning at their own pace. The flexibility became one of the program's greatest strengths because it worked for both the employed incumbent worker needing additional skills and the independent learners that are exploring new career pathways. In rural communities especially, accessibility matters. Not everyone can travel 2 hours for training, but many can log in after work or during flexible hours. Wrong page. To date, our department enrolled 175 users with 540 courses completed through the platform, which is a total of 875 hours. 80% of the participants were incumbent workers seeking to advance their careers, while 20% were independent learners seeking new career opportunities. We also saw encouraging engagement across demographics, including participation from both men and women, entering traditionally skilled trades industries. So not surprisingly, 80% of our users were male and 20% were female. For a regional pilot initiative, these numbers demonstrated strong interest and a clear demand for the flexible workforce training. Participants were able to build confidence before even stepping on to the job site or a production floor. The testimonial videos we gathered highlighted several common issues and themes. They increased confidence in technical skills, greater employee engagement, they improved onboarding and training efficiency, and expanded opportunities for workforce advancement. Beyond the participation numbers, the outcomes demonstrated measurable workforce impact. Among the follow-up survey respondents, 6% of the incumbent workers reported receiving a wage increase. 30% reported receiving a job promotion, and sometimes the job promotion was not necessarily a wage increase, but just a promotion to a higher lead level employment. And 43% of the independent learners actually obtained employment after beginning work. These are important indicators because they show the program translated into real economic mobility. One important part of the grant is the transition from the participants and employers to the college. It's been exciting to see the employers understand the need to continue more training advancement, and some will continue to use the Interplay Learning platform, where others are going to move into a more personalized advanced curriculum, and that is all through Mojave College. The next couple of slides indicate additional highlight demographic that was collected during the program. Tracking for this information helped us better understand participation engagement, measure the reach, and identify future opportunities of outreach. The majority of the participants identified as either white or Caucasian, followed by Hispanic or Latino, and American Indian participants recommended the third largest group. Participants' education levels provided invaluable insight served by the program. Nearly half of all the participants stated that they have a high school diploma as their highest level of education. An additional 19% had completed some college or technical coursework, and 16% had received an associate degree, but only 5% of the participants had obtained a bachelor's degree. These findings demonstrated an importance of accessible workforce training programs that provided opportunities for individuals. We also asked the participants why they enrolled in the program. Their responses reinforced the importance of accessible workforce training. Many wanted to gain skills for a new career. Many sought to increase their advancement opportunities in their current jobs, and several had hoped to increase opportunities, but an overwhelming majority wanted to simply enroll to explore new interests and skills. So in summary, this program provided employers with the ability to custom design the workforce training tailored to their operational needs at no cost to the employer. The flexibility of combining on-the-job and off-the-job instruction actually minimized disruption to the businesses, while allowing employees to still gain meaningful skills. This program helped businesses to address the immediate workforce shortages and investing in their long-term development and hopefully the retention of their employees. From an economic development perspective, our program strengthened the individual businesses, but an overwhelming majority was the personal stories that we heard from the independent learners that had gained new skills. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you for the presentation. I'd open it up to the board for questions. I have just a couple of questions.
Absolutely.
The Community Services Department, do they still have a Workforce Development Division?
They do.
Yeah. Are they, they used to run something called Workforce Sector Strategies under that department. Do they still do that? Do you know, Michelle?
I am not aware of that. However, Director Smith is in the audience.
Is Mojave College involved with this Good Jobs Grant?
It was actually, they were a partner of ours. So during phase 3, we were actually over at the Advanced Manufacturing Training Center, and it was a tandem presentation to Local First.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Thank you for the presentation. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll move on. Consent agenda, items number 4 through 40. Supervisor Lettman, would you like to remove any items from consent this morning?
I do not.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Gould?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 29 and 32.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Borelli? Supervisor Martin?
Yes, I want to pull 9, 10, and 11.
And I will not remove any items today, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, minus items 9, 10, 11, 29, and 32.
So moved.
Second.
With that motion second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes
Aye.
have it. You have it, so ordered. We'll move to item number 9, approve the issuance of a notice of assessment in the amount of $4,409.67 against parcel 324-02-748 on behalf of Mojave County Development Services for remediation of household trash and debris. Authorize the chairman to sign the attached abatement assessment and approve the recording of a lien against the property if the assessment is not paid in full within 30 days of issue. Supervisor Martin.
Yes. This is of particular interest to me because a lot of people have contacted me and said, hey, what's the county doing about these places that are vermin infested and whatnot? I've told them we do have a very active abatement program and through developmental services. And what I'd like is for Director Holtry to come up here and he can address all three of those because they all are. But I've told people, watch this meeting, watch what we do. We are actively pursuing these places that are unhealthy. Director Holtry.
Morning, Director.
Mr. Chair, Supervisor Martin, thank you for this opportunity. Definitely, our abatement program is funded through the landfill. We receive an amount per tonnage that comes into the landfill for abatements. We do have a very rigorous code enforcement process. We receive a complaint. It will go to our code enforcement team. They'll inspect the property. We like to get self-compliance. So this is both for our dangerous buildings. As you see on today's agenda, the first one, number 9, is for household trash and debris that's on a property, but items 10 and 11 are for unsafe structures. But so we will receive a complaint on an unsafe structure or trash, debris, or code violation. Our inspectors will inspect that. We will send them a violation notice and try to get self-compliance. We'll work with that property owner as long as they're working with us. If we don't get self-compliance, we will send them a final notice. We do have to give them 30 days on each notice. If they do not comply, then we will turn that over to our attorney's office where we will take it to court to get a court-ordered abatement. And a lot of times the judge likes to work with those individuals as well to give them a little bit of time to clean it up. We have gotten quite a bit of self-compliance. I'd say we get more self-compliance than we are going in and abating some of these structures or properties. But with that, if they do not comply and the judge has ordered it, then we will go in and abate the structure or the property itself. And then this is what you're seeing before you today is the lien is being added to the property.
Supervisor Martin.
Yes. Thank you for that. Like I said, this is a real problem in Mojave County. I've been actively involved in Dolan Springs, Meadview, and Lake Mead City, but when I get done with that, I'm going to go to Golden Valley because people are contacting me saying, hey, we got the same issues in Golden Valley. And I think it's probably everywhere. But I appreciate what your outfit does. I know it's a slow, cumbersome process, but we're going to take care of this. We're going to clean these places up one way or another. So I think if people out there that live in these things, and I don't know how they do it, because a lot of them don't have power, they don't have water, they don't have septic, they don't have nothing. And it's just an unsafe situation, and it's really unfair to their neighbors because they see the overflow of the vermin and everything. So, Scott, I appreciate you, your code enforcement team, and anything we can do or I can do in District 4 to help you do this. Count me in.
Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Attorney Davis.
I just wanted to add, just for edification of the board, that whenever someone is living on the property, their Fourth Amendment rights attached to that property, which then has to come to the county attorney's office to get that court order. And so whenever someone is living on the property, that drastically slows the process down. But with the 3 that are on the agenda today, no one's living on the property. It's usually burned out, especially when it's under building. So at the county attorney's office level, I move as fast as I can, but we move as quickly as we can. And we see an area of effect when we abate a property that someone is in. There's other violations around it. They'll come into compliance as well because a giant dumpster taking away the trash usually sends a good message that we're serious.
Appreciate the additional clarification and information. Thank you. Looking for a motion?
Motion to approve 9, 10, and 11.
Let's do one at a time.
Okay, motion to approve 9.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Do have it so ordered.
Motion to approve 10.
Second.
With that motion second, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Item number 11.
Motion to approve 11.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Do have it so ordered. Thank you. Move to item number 29. Approve the intergovernmental agreement between the County Elections Department, County Recorder's Office, City of Lake Havasu City for the provision of election services and authorize the appropriate officials, to execute the agreement on behalf of the county. Supervisor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've noticed that this agreement is only for Lake Havasu City, and I'm curious whether we already have agreements signed for Bullhead, Kingman, and Colorado City.
Mr. Chairman,
Attorney Davis.
at the last meeting, we got the other 3 cities.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
For that motion, do I have a second?
Second.
For that motion second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Ayes appear to have it. Do have it so ordered. Item number 32. Appoint poll site election boards, all special election board members, and deputy elections personnel for the 2026 primary election, and allow the elections director to fill all positions through election day. Supervisor Gould, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I can get Director Sumner to, she's here in person, to come on down.
Right.
Morning.
Director?
Good morning.
Director Sumner, I noticed that under the party affiliations of some of the poll workers, we have a designation of NR. I'm assuming these are minors, where we approved a month or so ago that minors could work the poll.
Yeah, Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Gould, that is correct. Anybody that is registered as NR on the list are minors, so they're anybody under the age of 18. If they are over the age of 18, they do have to be registered to vote in order to be a poll worker for us.
If they are under 18.
If they're over 18, they
Over
must
18,
be
okay.
registered to be a voter. They must be a registered voter, either party not designated or under a party. But if they are under 18, they can't register to vote, so they are under NR.
Correct. Yeah, I think I saw about 3 of them, so that's awesome. Thank you, Director. Motion to approve.
Second.
For that motion second, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes appear to have it. Do have it so ordered. Thank you, Board. Move to our public hearings. First public hearing, item number 41. Discussion, possible action, move to approve and authorize the chairman of the board to set fees, disposal of devices containing refrigerant and credit card transactions at the Mojave Valley landfill. The approved rate for disposal of devices containing refrigerant to be set at a fee of $45 per device and credit card transactions fee of $1.50 per transaction on transactions using cards. We have one person that signed up to speak during the public hearing. Angel Lund, you want to come to the podium, please? State your name and address for the record, please.
Open the public hearing.
I did open the public hearing. Yep.
Hello, Supervisors. Angel Lund, 4141 North Dragoon Road, Golden Valley, Arizona. I have no problem with the part for the credit card charge, but I do have a problem with the $45 for the refrigerant. That would be refrigerators, anything that would have Freon on it, because with that fee, people are going to dump them in Golden Valley. As you know, we already have a dumping problem in Golden Valley for dogs, cats, trash, whatever. This just adds to our problem. We have the cactus cleaners who come through and clean up our highways, but we have a terrible problem with people coming from either Kingman or Bullhead or other areas and dumping out in our desert because we don't have any police or sheriff or anybody who comes by and checks that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak during the public hearing on item number 41? Come on down. State your name and address for the record. Thank you.
I'm in Stanger, Fort Mojave, aka the German. Yeah, we have the same problem in Fort Mojave. Everybody dumps everything wherever they please. But with the refrigerant, do they have the right equipment to evacuate the refrigerators or whatever has refrigerant in there? Then there is all sorts of different refrigerants. R134 cannot be mixed with R22. You know, we have to make sure they have the right machines. Then that's an EPA standard, and I believe it goes under license 905 or 906 to have commercial refrigerants on property. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak during the public hearing on item number 41? State your name and address for the record. Thank you very much.
Yes, my name is Dave Vaccarezza with Gamby 360 on Mineral Road. I'm here today. I'm the contractor that operates the landfill. In response to the last concern, we do bring on a certified contractor who has all the required licenses to handle the evacuations. This was not something that was done before, but we were doing this at the other landfill and brought that practice to this landfill as well. So these will help us, I think, save landfill space and keep those things out of the landfill that shouldn't be there. So we appreciate the opportunity to appear before the board. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll ask one last time. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak during the public hearing on item number 41? I'm going to close the public hearing on item number 41. What's the pleasure of the board? Supervisor Gould?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Currently, the operator can probably tell us this, they're probably refusing appliances with refrigerant in them now. So if we don't provide a method to dispose of these things, they're going to get dumped for sure, or they're going to pay somebody to do it. I know the Havasu landfill, since the scrap price is up, I don't dump appliances in the landfill because the scrap price has been up for the last decade. But before that, we were paying $10 a unit to have the refrigerant pumped out at the landfill. So it was easier for us. We would just drop the unit off and they would do it for $10. But with the scrap price up, we sell them for scrap. The other thing, the document actually uses the term Freon. Freon is a patented trademark of DuPont Company, so you probably ought to go through there and change that where it says Freon and put in refrigerant, or the technical term for it, because you're infringing on somebody's copyright.
Thank you, Supervisor. I see this as an enhancement to the Mojave Valley landfill, just the convenience of that for citizens. Any other comments? I'd entertain a motion. Motion to approve?
Second.
For that motion in second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I appear to have it, do have its order. Thank you, board. We'll open up the public hearing on item number 42. Discussion, possible action, approve the adoption of Board Resolution 2026-093 as requested by Sarah Brosh on behalf of Desert Star Academy Incorporated of the Fort Mojave area, Sunrise Estates, Tract 4057 within Township 19 North, Range 22 West, Section 35 of the Gila Salt River Meridian, Mojave County, Arizona, to abandon a portion of frontage road north of Pinion Road, being plus minus 476 feet long and 40 feet in width along the westerly boundary, and a portion of alleyway being plus minus 420 feet long and 12.5 feet in width along with the northerly boundary of Block 1 of said Sunrise Estates, Tract 4057, containing approximately 0.54 acres, with said proposed abandonment more particularly described in attached Exhibit A document, and further accept the offer of purchase for the total amount of $36,000, which is equal to the prorated appraised value as provided by an Arizona licensed appraiser, whereas original appraisal contained .93 acres to be deposited in the Highway User Revenue Fund 005 account, and authorize the chairman of the board of supervisors to sign the attached quitclaim deed, which conveys the abandoned portions of the public rights of way to the abutting parcel owner, and being subject to the completion of ARS 28-7201 through 7215 at no cost to Mojave County, and authorize the assessor to include the parcel on the tax rolls upon conveyance by recording of the deed. We have no one signed up to speak on item number 42 during the public hearing. I'll make one call. Is there anyone in the public in the audience wishing to speak on item number 42? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Supervisor Gould.
if I get the applicant to come up, I have some questions.
Yes. Do we have the applicant present? Do we have the applicant on item number 42 present? I don't think that they're here.
Director Latoski, maybe.
Director Latoski, please come to the podium. Thank you.
There you are.
Supervisor Gould.
Director, do we know why they want to buy our right-of-way?
Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Gould, I can infer that the Desert Star Academy is developing an expansion to their school facilities on the parcel north of Pinion Road, and actually flanked by Frontage Road, which is one of the roads to be abandoned, as well as the two alleyways on the north side, and originally on the east side, but they have since rescinded the alleyway abandonment on the east side of their property.
I noticed they want half of the north alleyway. Is that going to create a problem for us?
Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Gould, no, it's 12.5 feet. What happens is due to statutory, as we understand it, as to statutory requirements, the property owner abutting the one half of the right of way has right of first purchase, where the property owner on the opposite side would have right of first purchase. So Desert Star just desires to pursue the southerly half. Public Works would have no objection to leaving the 12.5 feet.
And the closure of the frontage road, is that going to cause us an issue?
Supervisor Gould, no. I should point out that frontage road is in our maintenance system, so the 476 feet approximately that would be abandoned would be removed from our maintenance system. And that really is at the heart of the abandonment request, as we understand it, that the Desert Star Academy does desire to make this more of a private access driveway to the soon-to-be expanded facility. Okay. So it really makes a lot of sense to us. We did, and I should point this out for the record, we did receive a letter of objection from Fort Mojave Tribal, the sewer utility, as well as two property owners, but that only pertained to the easterly alleyway. We worked with Desert Star. They were very cooperative. Desert Star said, let's just rescind that, so we're not going to do anything with the easterly alleyway.
Okay. Have we done a traffic count on that frontage road at any point?
Supervisor Gould, no. I personally have been involved in, and I've been out there multiple times on some issues with SR 95 and Pinion Road. I've literally parked in that area on frontage road, and it's virtually has no traffic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
For that motion, second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes appear to have it. Do have it. So ordered. Thank you, board. We'll open the public hearing on item number 43. Sitting as the Board of Directors of the Mojave County Flood Control District. Conduct the Truth and Taxation public hearing to receive public input on the Mojave County Flood Control District for fiscal year 2026 through 2027. This is public comment only. No action is required. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak during the public hearing on item number 43? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing on item number 43. We're going to move to item number 44. I'm going to open the public hearing on item number 44. Sitting as the Board of Directors of the Mojave County Free Library District, conduct the Truth and Taxation public hearing to receive public input on the Mojave County Free Library District for fiscal year 26-27. This is public comment only. No action is needed. We have one person that signed up, actually a couple people that have signed up to speak during the public hearing. Armin Stange? And Scotty, you're on deck.
I'm in Stanger, Fort Mojave, aka the German. Yeah, again, property owners pay the bill again, so I really appreciate that. And the other thing is, since the property owners pay for the library, why don't we have a sign-in sheet at the libraries? So you sign in, state your business there, and then this way, the Library Advisory Board gets an overview how many people actually do go to the library and use their facilities for whatever reason. Thank you.
Scotty McClure?
Scotty from Bullhead. Kind of a pet peeve happened last Friday at the library down there in Bullhead. Procurement decided to buy all brand new chairs, those little plastic chairs that you sit your fat ass on. They took out all the yellow chairs, not one of them were broken. They fixed something that wasn't broken. But they had to spend all this damn money before July 1st, or they would have to give it back to you guys, and they don't want to do that. Procurement is so, ooh, you know what I wanted to say there. Now, they took out these yellow chairs and they had armrests. You're reading the newspaper, you're working a computer. You need that armrest between here and there. You need this here. I wore out my hand here now I'm sitting like this with nothing. If there's people that are too large to sit in a chair that can't have armrests, I mean, these chairs are wide loads, then they can request one. Fine. But to go out and spend all this money, and then we're talking 50, did they do this at all the libraries? Did they just go out there and a truckload put up a 40-footer? There must be 100 chairs down there. I guess you can use them for the parolees that go there once a month. Because they come out to where all the chairs are, and they take them in there to sit down to talk to the probation officer. Some of them are waiting an hour or two in there. So they can have the black chairs, and they can sit there. I love it when the sex offenders go by the children's department. I'm getting off course here, aren't I? But, you know, these sex offenders are walking by where their kids' little library part is. That shouldn't happen. But for procurement to go out and spend all this money, it's got to be in the thousands. And did they do this at the other libraries? How much money was spent? I want to hear procurement up here. How much money did they spend and why? There was nothing wrong with not one chair in there was broken.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to address the board during the public hearing on item number 44? Hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing on item number 44. I'm going to open the public hearing on item number 45. Conduct the truth and taxation and final budget public hearing to receive public input on the fiscal year 26-27 proposed final budget and tax levies. This is public comment only. No action is needed. We have no one signed up to speak on item number 45 during the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak during the public hearing? Going once? Twice. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing on item number 45. Thank you. We'll move to our regular agenda. Item number 46. Sitting as the Board of Directors of the Mojave County Flood Control District. Discussion and possible action regarding the adoption of the Mojave County Flood Control District tax rate of 0.5000 per $100 of assessed value and levy of $13,084,037 for fiscal year 2026 through 2027. Roll call vote is required. Good morning, Director Monia.
Good morning, Chairman Lingenfelter, board members. Real quickly, because we just had these 3 tooth and taxation hearings, I just want to go through some information on TNT as it relates to these rates that are about to be considered for approval. I have some slides prepared. We could get those up on the screen. Thank you. So just for everyone's edification, the TNT hearings are required by statute if the proposed levy rate results in a higher levy amount than in the prior year, and that happens when property values increase. Statute applies even if the levy rate remains the same as last year, which is the case for all 3 of these taxing jurisdictions, for the flood control, for the library, and for the county's primary property tax levy rate. The TNT basically compares the total dollar amount of the proposed tax levy to the prior year's tax levy, but in my opinion, ignores a few important facts. There are two values applicable to property in Arizona. You have the full cash value and the limited property value. In most cases, the full cash value is synonymous with market value, which means that the full cash value fluctuates with the market from year to year. In contrast, the limited property value is restrained by law in that it can never exceed the full cash value and can generally only increase by up to 5% over the prior year. These limitations on property values establish a hedge for property owners against inflationary increases, but they still allow for property tax revenues to increase marginally each year, even if levy rates remain consistent. And so I just say all of that to point out a couple of things. While it is true that taxpayer costs have increased, we've all felt the pain at the pump this year, among other things. It's also true that the county's costs have also increased. The cost of goods and services continues to increase. The TNT formula really ignores those increases. When we look at property tax and assessment statutes, those both recognize that costs increase over time. And when we look at the expenditure limit formula that our budget is constrained by, that also recognizes that costs rise over time. And so the one statement for the board to consider is that when we are in a rising cost environment, approving or adopting TNT rates year after year is always going to end up resulting in a deficit because our costs continue to rise. And if you hold the levy amount steady and don't allow for that marginal increase, then we get into a situation where a deficit continues to increase. Real quickly, for the flood control district, we're staying the same rate, 50 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. The TNT rate is 0.4794. You can see on the slide that holding the levy rate the same results in about an $800,000 increase over last year countywide. For someone with a $100,000 home, it's about a $2 increase. If it's a $500,000 home, do the math, it'll be about a $10 increase over last year's tax bill. And for budgeting purposes, and we budget a percentage of the calculated levy to allow for the certain number of taxpayers who will be delinquent on their property taxes. But adopting the TNT rate would result in a decrease in budgeted tax revenues for flood control of about $500,000. I'll pause there since this is the flood control item.
Supervisor Borelli?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Director, how close are we to our expenditure limit?
Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Borelli, the county is pretty far under the expenditure limit. That formula was adopted in the late 70s, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And we have historically been operating at about 50% of our expenditure limitation.
Mr. Chair, according to the CSA, the County Supervisors Association, Mojave County is the lowest of all 15 counties.
Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Borelli, I believe that we are now the second lowest, but it's a very, very thin margin between the lowest and the second lowest.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before we proceed? Supervisor Gould, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Mournian, you answered all the questions I normally ask you, so you've left me nothing really to say. It wouldn't really be a reduction in flood control's budget to adopt the TNT rate. If you adopted the TNT rate, their budget would be the same as last year.
Chairman Lingenfelter.
Only in government is the reduction of an increase a decrease.
Supervisor Gould, it would be a reduction in the budget that was presented to the board.
Correct, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Supervisor Martin, anything? Nope. All right, please proceed. Thank you.
I believe we need action on the flood control levy rate.
Oh, okay.
This will require a roll call vote.
All right.
Motion approved.
For that motion, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you like to run us through a roll call vote, please?
Supervisor Lettman,
Yes.
Supervisor Borelli,
Aye.
Supervisor Martin,
Yes.
Supervisor Gould,
No.
Chairman Lingenfelter.
Aye.
That's 4-1. It passes.
Thank you. Item number 47. Sitting as the Board of Directors of the Mojave County Free Library District, discussion possible action, adopt the Mojave County Free Library District tax rate of 0.2148 per $100 of assessed value and levy $6,166,838 for fiscal year 26-27. Roll call vote required. Director Mournian.
Thank you, Chairman Lingenfelter. Just like the last item, we are holding the rate the same as it was in the current year, 0.2148. This represents a $400,000 increase in the tax levy amount over last year countywide. It's a 64-cent increase for a $100,000 home. And from budgeting purposes, adopting the TNT rate would result in a decrease in budgeted revenues of about $180,000.
Thank you, Director. Discussion? Or possible action? Supervisor Borelli, thank you.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Supervisor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, would you please run us through a roll call vote?
Supervisor Lettman,
Aye.
Supervisor Borelli,
Pass.
Supervisor Martin,
Yes.
Supervisor Gould,
No.
Chairman Lingenfelter.
Aye.
Passes.
Yep. You come back to me? Yeah. Aye.
There you go. Thank you. I have that.
All right, we'll move to item number 48.
For the chairman, too.
Sitting as the Board of Directors of the Mojave County Television District, discussion and possible action regarding the adoption of Mojave County Television District rate of 0.0363 per $100 of assessed value and levy $1,042,161 for fiscal year 26-27. Director Mournian.
Chairman Lingenfelter, the TV district does not require a TNT hearing, so nothing to say about that. This is the same tax rate as FY26, and this one does not require a roll call vote.
Open it up to the board. Supervisor Gould, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Mournian, this doesn't require a TNT vote because we are the only county in Arizona that has a TV tax. And
Chairman Lingenfelter.
They wouldn't think to include a TV tax in their truth in taxation legislation.
Supervisor Gould, I can't comment on that. I don't have an answer
it's
for
rhetoric.
you.
It's rhetoric. Correct me if I'm wrong, but TNT has an inflation factor built into it also, doesn't it?
Supervisor Gould, that I am not certain of. It does exclude the values of new construction, but I don't think that there's an inflationary factor per se in that formula that they use. It's just comparing the assessed values versus the amount that's going to be generated by the levy rate.
So that's just our budget limit that has a 2% inflation factor built into it.
I believe so, Supervisor Gould.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Open it up to the board for motion or discussion. Supervisor Borelli, thank you.
Motion approved.
For that motion, do I have a
I'll-
second?
I'll second.
Madam Clerk, would you run us through a roll call vote, please?
Okay, I'm going to rotate here. We'll just go down Supervisor Borelli.
Aye.
Supervisor Martin.
Yes.
Supervisor Gould.
No.
Supervisor Letman.
Aye.
And Chairman Lienfelter.
Aye.
It passes.
Thank you,
4 to
Board.
1.
Item number 49, discussion and possible action regarding the adoption of the Holiday Shores Lighting District tax rate of 0.0149 per $100 of assessed value and a levy of $6,934 for fiscal year 26-27. Director Mornian, do you have anything on this?
Chairman Lingenfelter, no, this is a very small lighting district and a very minimal tax levy.
Very good. Thank you. I'd open up to the board for discussion or possible action.
Mr. Chairman,
Supervisor Gould,
I can expound on the history of this. This tax was actually done for this area in Bullhead City before Bullhead City was incorporated. So these people are actually paying an additional property tax for street lighting that other people in Bullhead City don't have to pay an additional tax for. I'm glad they finally put the word shores in there, because for years we were trying to figure out what holiday were we lighting. Thank you, Chairman.
Good point. I'd open it up to the board for discussion or possible action.
I'll move for approval.
Thank you, Supervisor. You've heard that motion. Do I have a second?
Good.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
No.
Ayes appear to have it. Do have it. So ordered. Thank you. Special meeting. The Board of Supervisors will now recess from their regular meeting and convene into a special meeting pursuant to Arizona Revised Statutes 42-17105 to take action to approve by motion and roll call vote the fiscal year 26-27 primary property tax levy in accordance with ARS 42-17107 and adopt the fiscal year 26-27 final budget with modifications as desired. Director Mornian.
Thank you, Chairman Lingenfelter and board members. So for the county, T&T wise, I will just say, as you're all aware, when we adopted the tentative budget 2 weeks ago, we do have a situation where we do need additional revenues to deal with increases in recurring expenses that are happening either due to inflation, legislative changes, or the costs of running our law and justice function as a county government. The board has been generous enough to approve several different initiatives, whether that's in the court systems or with public safety, but those all have dollar amounts attached to them. And so the proposed rate, it's the same as FY26's rate. It does result in a structural budget deficit of $3.8 million. If the board were to entertain adopting the T&T rate, that would push that budget deficit up to $5.3 million. As you can see on this slide, the proposed rate is about a $2.7 million increase over last year countywide. It's a $5.42 increase for a $100,000 home. And when we talk about budgeted revenues, this adopting a T&T rate would result in a decrease in budgeted revenues of about $1.6 million. Now, since the tentative budget was adopted 2 weeks ago, I just want to take a run through some of the larger ticket items for budget modifications. The complete list is included in the backup, but we had some adjustments in the general fund since the county manager, our new county manager, no longer serves as a county engineer, since he's not an engineer by trade, there's a $54,000 net increase to general fund expense because the former county manager's salary was split out because of serving as that function, kind of filling two different roles. We also had adjustments to sheriff personnel for Operation Stone Garden. This results in a $45,000 net decrease to the general fund, and this was approved at the last board meeting on June 1st. Altogether, we have in addition, in order to balance, because our tentative budget set the expenditure ceiling for the general fund, we basically decreased the general fund contingency budget amount by $12,000 in order to keep everything status quo. In our other funds, we have a number of adjustments both in revenues and expenses. We see the other side of that $54,000 adjustment. This is a decrease to our Public Works Engineering Department. The Public Works Director is now serving as the county engineer rather than the county manager. We also had about $400,000 increases to fleet's budget for vehicle purchases. And then we had some final ARPA adjustments for the ongoing ARPA projects. Net $20,000 increase just with costs that are carrying over into FY27. Basically a difference between what was projected when we initially put the budget together versus where it looks like we're landing towards the end of the current fiscal year. We also created a pass-through fund, a budget org for that $500,000 state appropriation for the boat launch that Supervisor Martin is managing, and that just gives us basically a place to put that money until it is ready to be handed over to the National Park Service. And then lastly, a couple of things that relate to our Sheriff's Office. We have a capital adjustment to the Reach Out Reentry of $829,000. This was basically when projections were put together for what that project was going to, what the total cost was going to be. The actual expenses came in a little bit higher, and so this decreases the amount from the capital fund for that project that would be transferred into operations for next year. They still have plenty of funding available for operations for several years. And as I'll get to later, the state's budget this year includes an additional $2 million for that purpose for Mojave County. And then we have an additional $600,000 increase for the sheriff for their waterways division. This was additional grant funding that the board approved on the June 1st agenda. Also at the tentative budget hearing, the board requested some options regarding the loan that the general fund took from the landfill fund. Just as a reminder, what we had initially proposed to the board was early repayment of the remainder of that loan in order to replenish the funds in the landfill fund. There's a number of reasons that makes sound financial sense. So two options that are presented today. One is just to keep everything as is, maintain the current terms of the loan agreement, continue making the principal and interest payments over the agreed upon 10-year period or term of that loan. There's 8 years left in that. Option number two would be to amend the loan terms to a 0% interest rate. This was discussed last meeting, but I would advise the board to, at the very minimum, continue to make those principal payments as agreed. The landfill fund, when we think about terms of general fund versus landfill fund, the general fund is funded primarily by taxpayer dollars via property tax levy or via the money that we get from the state for state shared revenue. The landfill fund is an enterprise fund. This is basically fees for services. When people utilize the landfill, they pay a certain fee, and that is what funds the landfill, its current operating liabilities as well as its future closure and post-closure liabilities. Right now, the fund balance is insufficient to meet all of those obligations. And so option number two would result in about an $850,000 decrease in interest earnings over the life of the loan term for the landfill. It would end up taking longer for the landfill fund to replenish its fund balance. Important to note for the board, if there is any sort of emergency closure at either one of the county's landfill sites, and the landfill fund does not have funds to cover those costs, the general fund is on the hook for it, regardless. That it's not a option of we don't care to pay for it out of the general fund. We're statutorily obligated to cover that cost if there is a shortfall in the landfill fund. I would say that option number 3 is what was originally presented to the board during the tentative budget hearing, and that is to still consider repaying the full amount of that loan. There's about, it would be about $7.5 million additional, and it would leave the general fund surplus sitting at around $8 million at the end of FY27.
Supervisor Borelli, I think he has a question really quick. Let's pause for just a moment.
Wait, are you finished, Luke?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm finished with the landfill, Supervisor.
Chair.
Supervisor Borelli, thank you.
A couple questions. So if we take that money out of the general fund and we pay off that debt, we're saving money on interest on that term because we're paying it off early, correct?
Supervisor Borelli, that is correct.
Okay. So in this enterprise, so if we repay that and they have more money in their coffers, the enterprise fund, then they'll actually have more money to compound, more interest to help with their closure. So they'd be obviously making more money on their deposit, or so to speak.
Supervisor Borelli, yes, correct. Currently, the general fund, the money's sitting in the general fund, so the general fund is earning interest on those funds. If we were to, the board was to approve paying the landfill loan back, we would transfer the money to the landfill fund, and then the landfill fund would benefit from the interest earnings.
Right, so they'll have that benefit, so they could put that towards the closure when that actually happens, so that burden doesn't come back on us, that we have to reach into our pocket for that catastrophe.
That's correct, Supervisor Borelli. And there's a number of planned projects at both landfills. The largest of those is the expansion to cell number 13 in Mojave Valley and cell number 7 in Surbat landfill. Those are scheduled to take place either in FY28 or 29. But the price tag for the currently planned projects is close to $12 million. And so the current balance is 12.1 million. So, of the fees that are collected, I think there's roughly around $800,000 to $1 million that flows into the fund each year. But when you look at those two projects on the very near horizon, that's going to basically wipe out what's currently in there. On top of that, when you expand the footprint of the landfill, that estimate of closure and post-closure costs also increases. Okay. So it does make a lot of sense to help the landfill fund get into a position where they're at least earning some additional interest revenue to hopefully position them to be in a better spot in that eventuality when those closure and post-closure costs come into play.
Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Gould, thank you.
I'm going to move that the board adopt option 3.
A second.
Heard that motion in second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none.
I have some comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Lettman. Please go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay, so a question for Luke, if he's still up there.
Yes.
We're not contemplating closing either one of these landfills in the near future, are we? It sounds like we're expanding them.
Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Lettman, you're correct. There is no planned closure of either landfill site. My comments are based on the fact that eventually those landfills will need to be closed. And the purpose of building up the fund balance over time is so that we don't get to that point down the road and have insufficient funds in there to cover those costs.
Well, I understand that, but my point of view would be that the current needs of the general fund far outweigh, the importance of building up that reserve. I mean, that's it's just simple. to me. We have a much more pressing need on the general fund right now, okay, until we figure out, how to really balance these revenue sources for the general fund. I would completely oppose Supervisor Gould's motion.
Director Holtry, you have some comments you'd like to share with the board? Manager Strahl?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that Director Holtry give a little background. While the landfills are not slated anytime soon to close, there are certain cells that may be closing, that there are some closure applications that are necessary for those cells as they fill up. So those are on the closer horizon.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, as far as the landfill is concerned, it's our obligation to have funds in place for closure, post-closure. That's part of our agreement to operate landfills within Mojave County. And like Supervisor Lettman mentioned, it's not something that we anticipate closing at any time soon. Probably not even my lifetime or my time here with the county, but I think it's something that we have to have on hand for an emergency as well. There has been reports of landfills closing or needing to close because of an emergency, and we would have to have that money on hand to be able to do that.
Supervisor Borelli, you have a question?
Yes, thank you. So if they have that money in the fund and they need to expand, and they need to basically leverage the money in their account to borrow or whatever, they have sufficient capital in there to handle any type of debt.
Yeah, and I would argue that we, more than closure, post-closure, because yes, the county is going to be on the hook for that if we have to close one of the landfills or both of the landfills. I think more importantly is, like Luke mentioned, we do have several projects that are on the horizon. We're currently working on the septic ponds right now. The development of both of those cells in both the Mojave landfill and the Sarabat landfill are going to be required here shortly, and we need to plan and prepare for those, and we need funds for those. Expansion of the gas system is going to be a requirement, and several other projects that are on the horizon. So more than making sure that our closure, post-closure is sufficient, I think, and we're going to continue to work on that and and providing this loan back will help us gain interest and put back into that fund. But more importantly, I think we have several projects on the horizon that need to be addressed and we'll have to fund.
To that point, those funds will come out of the enterprise fund, not the general fund.
Correct.
So this actually gives them the options to leverage that capital to go out and manage those projects.
Exactly.
Okay.
Any other comments? Supervisor Martin, thank you.
Luke, just to clarify, you as a CFO, what is your recommendation? Option one?
Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Martin, my recommendation is what was presented during the preliminary and the tentative budget hearings, and that is to fully repay the landfill loan using the surplus general fund balance, a portion of it.
Option three?
Option 3, Supervisor Martin.
Okay.
Director Holtry, let me ask you a question really quick. What forecasting and planning activities and professional staff work has been done with regard to both of these landfills? Because when we talk about closure, post-closure requirements, it's still a little bit nebulous to me as far as how many cells do we have available, what's their useful life, what sort of forecasting and planning are we doing? Obviously, the budget is a part of that, but
absolutely, Mr. Chair, members of the board, we do have a consultant on hand that we regularly seek advice from on the closure, post-closure, as well as cell development. They look at how many cells we can create or the lifespan of our landfills. Like I said, we still have quite a bit of space available in the Mojave Valley landfill. As far as the Sarabat landfill, we're running out of space, but we are partnering with the Mineral Park Mine to be able to create some more space on the west side of the landfill. And we're looking at a land swap with them, and they're working with us to do that. So we're actively preparing for and anticipating closure, post-closure in the future. But like I said, I don't think it's anything that we would anticipate in my lifetime unless there's an emergency. We do have space and availability. We have a consultant on hand that is regularly checking how much we're filling up a cell and when we need to go to the next one. We were just advised by our consultant that the cell in Mojave Valley has about 2 years left. If it was receiving the same amount of tonnage, we have received a reduction in tonnage, so we might have a little bit more time on that cell, but we do need we will need to develop that cell in the coming years.
From a board policy perspective, has there been any sort of a professional staff report or this consultant? Have they done a report on the entirety of this system and function? That information, that data is something that I think that this board would, I haven't seen it yet. But if you guys have some sort of a comprehensive report that talks about the forecasting, the planning, budget obviously being a part of that, I mean, what the whole, situation looks like from a 50,000-foot view, I think that would be very beneficial, at least for me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Any additional
Mr. Chair?
Supervisor Lettman, thank you.
Yeah, if Director Mournian could recap again, I may have misunderstood. What is option 3 again? Would you summarize that again?
Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Lettman, certainly. Option 3 would be using a portion of the general fund surplus balance to fully repay the landfill loan. In FY27, what is currently slated is the principal and interest payment as per the original terms of the loan agreement, which is about $1.2 million, I believe. Option 3 considers an additional $7.5 million to completely pay back that loan.
Okay, and how does option 3 differ from option 1?
Option 1 is just to make that $1.2 million in principal and interest payments in FY27.
Okay, so in terms of option 3, if we needed this money for an emergency next year, for instance, or in 2 years, we could simply make the motion in 1 or 2 years to transfer the remaining balance over, correct?
Supervisor Lettman, I believe that would be a possibility for the board, yes.
Well, from a cash management point of view, I would keep the $7 million in the reserve. Okay, I just think there's going to be emergencies that can occur in the county level also, and it sounds like they might be more probable, if at all, than an emergency at the landfill. I just think option 3 is poor cash management.
Supervisor Lettman, your point is well taken, but if any emergencies do arise that the general fund needs funding for, we do have a fully funded contingency fund in the general fund of 10% of the operating budget. It's close to $14 million for FY27. That is a budgeted expense line item in next year's budget. So there is a significant sum of money set aside for any sort of emergency situations that may develop.
Okay, again, I would not deplete the reserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Let me get to Supervisor Borelli. I think you might have a comment, and then I'll get to you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Luke, what is the length of this term, this loan, and how much, if we paid it off, how much money will we save in interest payments?
Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Borelli, the original terms of the loan was a 10-year repayment. The loan was taken in FY23. The first year of repayment was FY25 because we basically, in FY24, the interest that accrued was just capitalized, but then per the terms of the original repayment schedule, we basically doubled up on the interest payment in FY25. So FY26, our current fiscal year, is the second year of payment, and it would run through FY34. There's it's roughly anywhere from 1.2 to almost $1.4 million a year between the principal and interest. that the general fund is slated to repay, and then the final year it's about $400,000 just to wipe out the remainder of the loan. As far as the interest that the general fund would be paying to the landfill, the original loan terms over that 10-year period, the general fund would pay about $1.5 million in interest. Does that answer your question?
If we're shortening up the payment, okay, if we went full term and we paid it off now, how much money would we be saving on interest if we went full term?
Give me 1 second here, Supervisor Borelli. It's about $850,000 in interest that the general fund would be saving.
We paid it off now, and we did not go full term.
Correct, Supervisor.
Supervisor Gould, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Luke, I believe there's nothing that would prevent us, if we repaid this loan this year, if we got in a financial bind in the future, to borrow that money back out. Because that's essentially what a previous board did. They were in a bind over the public safety pension, the deficit, and they borrowed that money out to make a payment to that to save interest.
That is correct, Supervisor Gould.
There would be nothing that prevent us from asking the treasurer to write a check, loaning that money back to the general fund and spending the money out of the general fund.
That's correct, Supervisor Gould. In FY23, we basically drafted a inter-fund loan agreement between the landfill fund and the general fund and executed that, and that's something that the board could do in the future as well.
So we're covered if we were in a bind, whether it's in the general fund or whether it's in the enterprise fund. The interest is going from the general fund to the enterprise fund currently.
Supervisor, currently, because the funds are sitting in the general fund and they're invested as part of the treasurer's pooled investments, the interest earnings each month are allocated to each one of the funds in the county based on the average daily balance, and so the general fund is getting that interest. There's no per the terms of the loan agreement, there was no intent to transfer interest that the general fund is earning on this money to the landfill fund. So the landfill fund is not earning interest that it could be earning. Think of it this way. We have $7.5 million sitting in the general fund surplus. Right. The general fund is earning interest on that. If we transfer it to the landfill fund, then the landfill fund is going to be earning interest on $7.5 million more.
But they're both parked in the same account?
All of the county's funds are invested in the treasurer's pooled investments, but on the books we have them segregated by fund.
Right, so it's internal.
That's correct.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Lettman, thank you, sir.
Director Mourning, thank you for letting us know how much money of accrued interest would be saved by putting this over. What we didn't talk about, of course, is the accrued interest that would be earned by the county, and that's a significant difference, as I recall. The loan terms call for interest rate from the landfill fund of 2.25%, but we know that the general fund is investing that money and making roughly around 4% on it. So, if we're going to talk about an $800,000 savings, okay, to the general fund, we need to talk about the loss of even more interest income for once it invested on behalf of the general fund. I think if you would like to clarify on that.
Supervisor Lettman, you are correct. Currently, for the last year or so, the treasurer's pooled investments have been yielding about 4% interest. The landfill loan is at a 2.25% interest rate. As you have pointed out before, the general fund is basically earning more on that money right now than what the interest is accruing against the loan. But at the end of the day, this is, we have a landfill fund that is, their fund balance is woefully inadequate right now to cover their current and future liabilities. And that is why I'm recommending, regardless of the fact that the general fund is earning more right now, it would be better fitting for the landfill fund to be earning 4% on those monies in light of their future liabilities that continue to increase.
Okay, I just don't know of many households in the county that would pay off a loan of 2.25% early when they're making the money of over 4%. And I understand the distinguishment between the landfill fund and what's going on in the general fund. Again, to me, thank you for the loan 2 years ago, and I'm glad we're able to invest that. I think the needs of the general fund are actually more pressing than the landfill.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any additional discussion? Do you have an additional presentation?
Chairman Lingenfelter, the only thing that I would add is that we've had a preliminary budget workshop and we had a tentative budget hearing 2 weeks ago. And the information that I presented to the board was that we have a surplus general fund balance. So once we look at all the budgeted expenses for the general fund, including that 10% contingency, our revenues are not keeping pace with the expenses. We do have a several $million deficit in the budget this year, but these monies that are being contemplated to repay the landfill loan are kind of above and beyond that. This is basically the surplus general fund balance. And so these are monies that you don't want to fund recurring expenses with essentially one-time funds. This is a one-time repayment of a loan that the general fund took from the landfill. It's an appropriate use of that excess fund balance, and my recommendation is that the board approve repaying the landfill loan.
Director Mornian, if my memory serves, and it may not, but hopefully it does, fiscal year 29, you have us forecasted to return to a non-deficit position. Is that correct?
Chairman Lingenfelter, that is correct, and I can advance to a slide here if we get that up on the screen. As you can see, so the adopted tentative budget from 2 weeks ago, the final budget as presented today with all the modifications would have us in FY29, so 2 years, net positive of about $750,000, and that would be absent any other budget initiatives over the next 2 years that would increase our costs and decrease that.
Appreciate that. And if our economy continues to do well, hopefully does very well, that'll only help.
That's correct.
Any other questions or discussion?
And Chairman, I do have some additional information just before the board takes action. If the board does desire to, as Supervisor Gould motioned, to repay the loan in full, that can be included in the overall budget as a modification. Because what we presented today we had adjusted since last meeting to just include maintaining the original principal and interest rate. Our payments, basically option one of the three that are presented. As Supervisor Borelli mentioned earlier, the state did pass a budget, I believe at 1 o'clock on Saturday morning, and then the governor signed it later that day. There's a couple of items, if I could get the slides up on the screen, I just wanted to go through real quickly. The ones that are noted with a star next to them, these are items that we did not budget for. 3 of them are good news for the county, but the first one, all the judges are getting a salary increase. It would be effective January 1st of 2027. So that for the county's portion of that, it's about $126,000 for that second half of FY27. So we will be adjusting the general fund budget to cover that. But the Sheriff's Department did make out again this year. They had $200,000 appropriated for record management purposes. I don't have any more information on what all that entails. That's all that was in the Appropriations Act. And then $300,000 for county sheriff support. And again, it was pretty nebulous how it was written. I'm assuming it's like the $1 million the sheriff got in FY26 that he can spend on whatever he wants to spend it on. The legislature also approved Mojave County's portion is $20,000 to cover the 0.5% increase in the contribution rate to the corrections officer retirement plan. So that's good news for the county, even if it's a small dollar amount. At least the legislature approved that contribution rate change for FY26, and now they're coming behind that to cover it and provide us some funding for it. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we did budget for this, but the final budget did include a $2 million appropriation for continued funding of the Reach Out Reentry Center operations. One other item on here, it's still pending, HB 2265. This was transmitted to the governor for signature on June 10th, but as of yet, she has not signed it. This would prevent the court from assessing fees related to the appointment of public defenders. And speaking with our Indigent Defense Services Director, this would be about $160,000 to $200,000 impact that the general fund would have to cover if this is signed into law.
Indigent defense to be a state responsibility. Are we still allowed to do a test to the ability to pay, private pay? Is there still a indigent, if I could say the word, indigency screening? Excuse me.
Chairman Lingenfelter, I'd have to defer to Blake Schroeder, our
he's coming down.
Indigent Defense Services Director.
Thanks, Blake.
Good morning, Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisors. Chairman Lingenfelter, no, this bill would essentially remove that authority from the courts.
If you can't afford an attorney, then it's on all of us to pay for your attorney. There you go. Government hard at work. Thanks again.
And so I will just close with this, Chairman Lingenfelter. The budget as presented, not structurally balanced, as the board is aware. There's about a $3.8 million draw on the general fund surplus to cover that imbalance. But as it is, there's a projected general fund surplus of about $15 million at the end of FY27. Obviously, if the board approves repaying the landfill loan, that would be reduced to about $8 million. Finance is projecting $400,000 deficit next year, absent any other budget initiatives, but a potential to return to a balanced budget in FY29. And that's all I have for you, Chairman.
Very good. Thank you. Very good. Any additional discussion? And you're saying the marching orders from the board on the landfill loan will need to be included in a motion?
That's correct, Supervisor Lingenfelter.
Okay.
We would need a motion to approve the tax levy rate and the budget with modifications, and one of those modifications could be to include that transfer from the general fund surplus to the landfill.
Thank you, sir. I'd open it up to the board.
So we do.
Didn't we have a motion,
Is there a motion
already?
We do have a motion on the floor. It's for option 3. It's was by Supervisor Gould and Supervisor Borelli seconded.
And that's just for the landfill? Can we do a separate vote for the landfill under this motion, or does it need to be a condition?
I would recommend that the second be withdrawn and the motion amended.
I would too, yeah. Yeah, that the landfill thing would be a modification to what we're voting on, which is approval of the fiscal year 26-27 property tax levies. Is that accurate?
That's how I would read it. On the motion for this, I would be as specific as possible since it's the budget. And so I would recommend, like I said, the second be withdrawn and the motion restated.
So academically speaking, approve property tax levies as presented with a modification of such and such option 3 for the landfill. Or
yes,
something
sir.
Like that.
Yes.
Academically speaking.
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure I'm clear.
I guess I rescind my second.
I'd rather vote my motion.
I don't think is it illegal to do that? It's not illegal to do that. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed?
This has to be a roll call vote on this.
On the landfill?
No, on your budget.
This is the landfill vote.
Yeah,
For option 3.
Supervisor Gould is pressing for a vote on the landfill only under this
Okay.
item. And
All right.
if it's not illegal, we're going to go ahead and do that. It doesn't require a roll call vote to vote on the landfill. So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
I
Nay.
do have it. Do you have it? So ordered. Now,
Thank you.
as far as the special meeting that we're under to provide a vote on the property tax levies, I'd open it up to the board. Do I have a motion? We're under number 1, under the special meeting. We're looking to have a motion, which will require, and a second, which will require a roll call vote to approve the fiscal year 26-27 property tax levies and adopt the fiscal year 26-27 final budget with modifications as desired.
And Chairman, I would just ask that motion that we, as Attorney Davis pointed out, that it be specific that those modifications include that repayment of the landfill loan.
Thank you, Director Mornian. It up to the board for discussion or possible motion.
Mr. Chair?
Supervisor Burley, thank you.
I make a motion that we approve agenda item number 1 to include the option 3 repayment of the landfill debt.
Thank you, Supervisor. You've heard that motion. Do I have a second? I'll second that. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, would you please run us through a roll call vote, please?
Okay. Supervisor Martin?
No.
Supervisor Gould?
No.
Supervisor Letman?
Yes.
Supervisor Borelli?
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to explain my vote. You know, this county is growing. We have a lot of people out here outside the unincorporated areas that are requesting all kinds of needs. It's Lake Havasu City is the largest contributor of all 3 cities of taxes to the county. We carry the largest share of that burden. At the end of the day, we still have to govern. Property values go up. That's one of the benefits of owning property is your property values go up. Also, your taxes go up a little bit too. At the end of the day, we have to govern. You know, not everybody likes paying taxes, but the people that are paying the least are the people that are needing the most. And, you know, Mojave County is the second lowest county with the expenditure limit, which means we've been fiscally prudent, but we have a revenue issue, not really a spending issue. We have to come up with other solutions other than putting this burden on all the property owners. With the revenue that Lake Havasu City enjoys on tourism is astronomical. Not only that, we're also missing out on that we call the Wayfair money, which the cities enjoy because they have a sales tax on online sales. Just think of all the money construction tax revenue we're missing out on because this bypass is going through Kingman. We need to come up and have a serious conversation. Nobody likes paying taxes and nobody wants to be the one to impose a new tax, but we have to come up with a better system than putting the entire burden on all the property owners and the visitors pay nothing. With that, I vote aye.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Chairman Lingenfelter?
I'd also explain my vote. I think that this is a conservative budget. When you look at all 15 counties, this is a conservative budget. A budget is nothing but a statement of priorities. To the best of our ability, we've funded law enforcement and public safety as our highest priority. We're going to continue to do that. It's a very large county, and I think that it's a very conservative budget, and I'm going to vote aye. Thank you.
The vote is 3-2. It passes.
The Board of Supervisors will now adjourn the special meeting. and we will resume the regular meeting. Move to item number 50. Discussion, possible action, approved and signed contract amendment number 1 to contract number 2025-038 RFP, Mojave Valley Landfill Operations with Gamby 360, Kingman, Arizona, adding a line item pursuant to the gate rate adjustments, adding the approved gate rate fee for Freon excavation. I think Supervisor Gould referred to that earlier, from white goods, and allowing the landfill owner, Gamby 360, to assess the approved credit debit card transaction fee for said service, and all the terms and conditions remain the same. On behalf of Development Services Environmental Quality Division, we do have, go ahead, Tara.
Sorry, I didn't wait for whoever was here to speak. I just wanted to give some background on, normally we wouldn't put something like this on the regular agenda, recognizing that we had a public hearing to set the gate fees, change the gate fees. We wanted to make sure that this would follow that item. Supervisor Gould, I've actually already got a revised signed amendment from Gamby related to changing that to refrigerant instead of Freon. We'll get revised back up. So my request of the board, our proposed motion right now is to approve and sign the contract. I would ask that you would say approve and authorize the chairman to sign the contract amendment so that when we get that revised back up, we can present it to the chairman for signature as soon as possible.
Thank you, Tara. We do have one person that signed up to speak on this item. It's Angel Lund. You'd come up and state your name and address for the record. Thank you very much.
Angel Lund, 4141 North Dragoon Road, Golden Valley, Arizona. You've already approved this. What I would ask for is a mod of reduce the amount. I mean, if you look at a refrigerator, it might cost $20 to have it taken to the dump. If you put another $45 on top of that, you're looking at $65 for one item. There's no way it can cost $45 to evacuate the Freon or any of the contaminants. So I ask for a modification of the amount. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That's the only person we have signed up to speak on item number 51. I'd open it up to the board for discussion or a possible motion. Thank you. Supervisor Martin?
Yes, Chairman. I'd like to hear from Gamby because they said they brought in a special person to do this. I'd like to know if they can address the cost of that special person.
Sir, if you'll state your name when you get to the podium, please.
Sure. I'm Jack Fiore. I'm the CAO with Gamby 360. To answer the question I think you're asking, the cost to evacuate the refrigerant is around $25. It's a little variable because it's done on an hourly basis, and based on the number of machines and how long it takes the contractor, it kind of ranges in the $23 to $26 range. We chose $25, and then the expense beyond that is the expense that we incur. The refrigerators or the appliances are brought in. We've got to take them and separately remove them, put them over here. We've got to stage them for the refrigerant contractor. And then when he's done, we've got to take those machines again and put them over where the white goods are and eventually take them out for diversion, for recycling. So it's a combination of Gamby expenses and the contractor's expenses. It's a total of $45, not $45 plus the $25 that's currently being charged. The new rate is $45.
So what you're saying then is that the $45 is justified in the expenses with the special contractor and your labor to move these things around.
Yes, sir.
And the refrigerant's got to get shipped off to the recycler. So
Yeah,
the contractor's taking care of that portion.
Yeah, he's taking it with him.
Sure, and they're not buying refrigerant anymore. They make you pay to get rid of the refrigerant.
Yeah.
Which is an additional cost to somebody.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, sir.
Any further questions for the operator? Yeah.
Sir.
Further questions for the operator? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Supervisor. Do we have a motion?
We do not yet.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Supervisor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Yeah, Tara, please do.
Can you do the motion to approve authorizing the chairman to sign? Because I will be revising the backup to correct the Freon issue. So can you clarify in your motion that it's not motion to approve as written, it's motion to approve authorizing the chairman to sign the revised amendment?
Would you like to remove your second really quick so he can amend?
He seconded.
I'll withdraw my second.
Sorry, looking the wrong way. Sorry, guys. Doing my
Motion
best.
to
It's like herding cats, I'll tell you what.
To help you, Supervisor Martin, motion to approve authorizing the chairman to sign the revised amendment correcting Freon to be refrigerant.
Right. What she said, yeah.
Second.
Thank you.
Make the motion.
Thank you both.
Yeah. Wait a minute, did you?
Second.
Yeah.
I'll ask if there's
Supervisor
any
Gould.
additional discussion. One last time.
Okay.
Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
Ayes appear to have it, do have it. So ordered. Thank you, Board. All right, item number 51. Approve Capital Improvement Fund 410 contingency allocation of $2 million for purposes of increasing the developing county morgue facility budget from $4 million to $6 million due to the increased cost of construction, casement, lab, autopsy equipment, and cold room equipment, as well as off-site road and utility requirements for construction. Director Latoski.
Chairman Lingenfelter, members of the board, I have a very brief presentation. There we go. This item concerns the remodel of the former Public Works Traffic Control Building into a new Mojave County morgue. To update the board, Chairman Lingenfelter, members of the board, design is complete. Permit has been applied for, building permit through the city, and we are just one city approval away from having a fully permitted set of plans by which we can go out to bid. The reason for the timing of this action is in the course of the project design and development, and this being particularly a forensic science building, our architectural team has presented to Mojave County an estimate of cost that has exceeded the construction budget, remaining construction budget of $3.64 million. That $3.64 million deducts $350,000 for the design and construction administration of the project development and construction, as well as a nominal amount of $8,700 for asbestos remediation. Through the entire course of this project design, staff's overarching goal was to facilitate providing a fully functional morgue and laboratory consistent with best practices for facility size and location. Our emphasis was really on providing the laboratory layout and equipment that any medical examiner absolutely needed to perform their job. And actually, to punctuate that on this particular slide, you can see here in the real darker shaded areas, this is all of the laboratory and actual medical examiner work area. There is very little of this building, which was 4,800 square feet, enlarged to an extra 480 square feet because we had to have a mechanical room in the upper right-hand corner, which is kind of off the Sallyport area. So the overall design, just to provide for a fully functional morgue, really emphasized the laboratory features. And as a result of both the preliminary construction cost estimate as well as a couple of revisions, the last of which was received late on Friday, it is the opinion of the architect's cost estimator that this construction will be approximately $5.8 million. And if we add 5% for contingency plus 1% for staff's administration, the construction budget is at $6.15 million, which is $2.5 million above what we have available in the project budget as approved in the FY26 budget. A couple of other points of estimate. I offer this slide here. I'm not going to read those bullet points. Those really highlight what really separates a forensic science facility from a traditional government office facility. But just by comparison purposes, this particular building, which is obviously on a very smaller scale at just over 5,000 square feet, is currently estimated to construction at about $865 a square foot. That compares to $310 a square foot for our Law and Justice Center Phase A, Phase 2A, as well as $265 a square foot for our historic courthouse remodel, the Law and Justice Center Phase B. On the other side, this is a cost estimate, and I will express to the board that this same cost estimator, which is a third party hired by our architect, a subconsultant to our architect, estimated that the historic courthouse would cost $6 million to construct. The low bid on that project was $3.9 million. But staff here, we feel it as part of our due diligence to come before the board and present the board with a modified construction budget based on the cost estimate that we have in hand right now.
Andrew Strahl, did you have a comment?
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to emphasize that while staff has been heavily involved in this project to make sure it stays on the timeline that has been dictated by the board, we have gone through several rounds of value engineering to try to reduce the expenses as things came on. The other thing I'd like to point out is even though this is a significant increase, there is sufficient contingency funds available in the CIP budget based on what Director Latowski said. Anytime that our projects come in actually under budget for the various construction projects, we retain that in a construction budget, so we can use those when these anomalies occur during other construction projects. So this is not would not be a hit to the general fund for this adjustment.
Thank you, Manager. Director Latowski, you mentioned that the cost estimator was a subconsultant to the architect. Do we ever do any sort of in-house project cost estimates and compare the two?
Chairman Lingenfelter, members of the board, staff had engaged in what I would call an opinion of cost back when we were honing in and offering as staff recommendations the traffic control building site. Where I am at a loss for as an engineer is I always rely on best available unit costs from past construction, etc. And when staff put together the estimate, or I should say an opinion of cost for the traffic control building, which was substantially less than where we're at today, all we had to drive off of is unit costs from our traditional government building developments. We just did not have unit costs and experience with a forensic science building. So staff did perform in 2024 when the site was selected some opinions of costs, and that was substantially lower than this current cost estimate.
How close have our in-house independent cost estimates of projects been? I mean, within a few percentage points, or is there anything that we can do internally to, as far as certainty in our planning for CIP to strengthen our independent in-house cost estimates?
Chairman Lingenfelter, members of the board, I don't have a real historical perspective I can share with our cost estimating, particularly on the building projects. On the horizontal projects, we have been fairly accurate, I would say, in estimating the vertical projects. That we have a wealth of information to draw to. The Arizona Department of Transportation has unit costs published from all the projects that they bid out. But on our building projects, again, we try to rely on scope and scale of a particular new build as it relates to our experience with a more recent build. So that pretty much is what I can offer as far as a summary.
It just seems my time on the board, a lot of the CIP projects that we've done, the reach out facility, one of the court facilities downtown, maybe a couple of the court facilities in downtown, this facility, we've had to add money to each one of those budgets, significant dollars to each one of those budgets. So I'm just wondering if there's anything we can do to sort of dial in our internal planning on estimating.
Absolutely, Chairman Lingenfelter. The pandemic and the resulting inflationary environment that came out of the pandemic was somewhat of an anomaly that really through some of the early estimates, I think, that staff had together for building.
I'd open it up to the board for additional discussion. Supervisor Gould.
Mr. Chair.
Let's go. We'll go to Supervisor Gould, and then I'll get to you, Supervisor Lettman. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the air conditioning industry, we've seen a 100% increase in equipment prices over the last couple of years, whether it's the federal government telling us to change refrigerants once again, and just the price increase in everything. There's a class action lawsuit against the air conditioning manufacturers right now, an antitrust suit over pricing. But everybody's taken the opportunity of COVID basically to adjust their prices upward, and you're seeing prices are just going up. And also, this is a building, we're never going to build another building like this in our lifetime. It's a specialty building that the staff's used to working with office buildings and road projects, and this is just neither of those things. A lot of mechanicals in there, and so the price increase of mechanical equipment is going to affect the budget. Thank you.
All good points. Supervisor Lettman, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I completely concur with Supervisor Gould on that. Very good points. Director Latowski, the equipment going into this building is going to be highly specialized. What's happened on the pricing for that in terms of the estimates of the overall cost of the project?
Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Lettman, the laboratory equipment is a sizable component of the overall construction cost. To Manager Strahl's point, the original cost estimate was about $1,075,000, and through some value engineering, without compromising the actual laboratory equipment that is planned to be in the morgue, we have dropped that down, according to the cost estimator, down to about $850,000.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any other comments or discussion? Supervisor Lettman, thank you, sir. Or Martin, I'm sorry. I'm losing it.
Okay. This is something that we, as a board, decided we wanted to do. No more outside stuff. We're going to all do it in-house. And I think we're all committed to seeing that to the end. And I know I understand what Supervisor Gould's saying. All of these costs are going up, 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 up. So it's something to be expected. I'm not surprised by it. I'm surprised at how much it is, but I'm not surprised by it. And like I say, but I think as a board, we are committed to get this thing done and get it operational. And we told the citizenry of Mojave County we're going to do it, and we ought to stay on course and get it done. So I will support that.
Thank you, Supervisor. Entertain a motion. Supervisor Gould.
Motion to approve.
Have a second? Second. For that motion, second.
Chairman Lingenfelter?
Yes.
If I may, so staff had originally put a recommended motion of a $2 million increase to the project construction budget. Based on the latest estimates, and they've been revised as of last week, late last week, we are requesting $2.5 million additional.
Attorney Davis, since that wasn't published, we're still allowed to do that, right? Since it's above what was published in the agenda?
Chairman Lingenfelter, I would say it's germane to the item, but the motion that was adopted that was seconded was for $2 million.
Yeah, we'll need to revise that, obviously. So you've heard that. Whoever seconded will need to pull their second, and we'll need to revise the motion.
I will rescind my second.
Thank you, sir. And would you like to provide an amended motion?
This would be Supervisor Gould making the amended motion.
Whoever made the motion.
I'm going to retract my prior motion and make a new motion to amend the stated motion to $2.5 million.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Gould.
That I will second.
Great. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes appear to have it, do have it, so ordered. Thank you, Board. Item number 52, discussion, possible action, approve a waiver of ground impact rental fee estimated at $3,000 for approximately 15 acres during the 4-day period September 17th through the 20th, 2026, to the Kingsmen of Route 66 in exchange for the Kingsmen of Route 66 performing a complete grading and leveling of a vacant area of the fairgrounds land north and northeast of the rodeo arena for long-term fairgrounds benefit in support of future events, staging, and parking operations. Who's going to be presenting on this, Director Latosky?
Yes, Chairman Lingenfelter, members of the board, as you may recall, the Kingsmen leased the fairgrounds arena and control that facility. And historically, the Kingsmen have held their Andy Divine Days rodeo on a different weekend than the fair. Well, we've had some discussions with the Kingsmen, very, very exciting. The Mojave County Fair is September 17th through the 20th. And in discussing some logistics with the Kingsmen, we are aiming to combine both events. They'll be mutually exclusive of each other. They'll charge their own entry fees, etc. But we are aiming to see the Kingsmen host their rodeo on the same weekend as the fair, so that there's some really interesting evening entertainment. The fairgoers would still be charged the fair entry rate, etc., and the rodeo patrons would be paying their own rodeo entry fee rate. But one small logistical thing was working out some parking arrangements. And to the north and east of the fairgrounds arena, there is a considerable open space that is available for parking. However, there is some old motocross, dirt and hills and everything that just has to be leveled off for parking. And what Mojave County Parks Public Works is proposing for a board to consider and approve is a waiver of the facility use fee for that acreage, that 15 acres for the Kingsmen to use for parking in exchange for the Kingsmen actually leveling off that area, which would be a real benefit for the fairgrounds anyways, to have a level area for future use if we needed to use overflow parking, etc. So, but we're very excited to be able to team with the Kingsmen and possibly offer these dual events on the same week.
Thank you, Director. Any questions? Supervisor Martin?
You say they're going to operate on the same weekend, but they're going to charge, the rodeo people are going to charge more or charge. How are they going to do that? You don't have that many entrances there. Are they looking at opening up the east entrance just for the rodeo people, and then the fair people go to the west side?
You characterize it correctly, Chairman Lingenfelter, Supervisor Martin. Yes. So the fair would operate with their normal access points, but the Harrison access points would be available for the rodeo patrons.
Okay, thank you.
And there'll still be, I should add, there'll still be a controlled gate access for fairgoers to enter the rodeo area. They would have to pay for entry, almost just like you're going to a ticketed concert, but there'll still be a way for fairgoers without having to go on a roundabout way to get to the arena if they wish to go to the rodeo.
All right, thank you.
Scotty McClure, you signed up to speak on this item. Any other comments from the board? I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
You've heard that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes appear to have it. Do have it. So ordered. Thank you, board. Item number 53, discussion and possible action. Approve the proposed 5 eligible census tracts for submission to the Arizona Commerce Authority for consideration and subsequent submission to the U.S. Department of the Treasury for Opportunity Zone designation. As follows: Laughlin Bullhead International Airport and Industrial Park, Bullhead City City Center, Colorado City Census Tract, Griffith area, including Oatman, Yucca, Havasu Heights, and West Wickiup, and White Hills. Is anyone from Economic Development online to present this? We have Tammy or Michelle from Economic Development to present.
Can you hear me now? I'm sorry, I've had a problem with my computer.
We hear you. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
You have the floor.
Okay, so before we actually vote on the 5 census tracts, I'd kind of like to overview what the Opportunity Zone is. Opportunity Zone 2.0 is the second time we've done this as a federal tax incentive. And rather than relying on the government grants and subsidies, the Opportunity Zone program was created almost 10 years ago. It's aligned with aligning private investor incentives with public economic goals. Opportunity zones are deliberately structured to encourage short-term speculation and quick flips. To unlock the most powerful tax benefits, an investor must hold their opportunity zone investment for at least 10 years. Capital gains tax liability incur taxes usually within 180 days. Investors who are willing to deploy capital for a decade or more can access tax benefits that are not merely incremental but transformational. If funds are put in an qualified opportunity fund, investments made after January 2026 receive a 5-year deferral. So if an investor holds their opportunity zone investment for the 10 years, an approximate appreciation is included from capital gains tax. An example of this is if an investor rolls over $1 million gain on the opportunity zone investment and the investment grows $3 million over 10 years, the $2 million of appreciation can be sold at 100% free of capital gains tax. An opportunity zone 1.0 was received. When we received that, we have received many phone calls from people with opportunity zone funds, but mostly only for solar. This time, people understand the opportunity zone more, and they understand the benefits of Mojave County, and I'm already receiving phone calls from businesses with the Opportunity Zone funds that want to invest in Mojave County after and as early as January 2027. Qualified census tracts are determined by poverty rates and median incomes. The area for our census tracts is determined by the amount of people in the tract. We have some tracts that are very small and some that are very large, and that's important as we get down the road. The Arizona Commerce Authority has given us very specific guidelines that we must follow. Each county is able to submit 25% of the qualified census tracts. Mojave County has 21 census tracts that qualify, so we can submit 5 tracts to the Arizona Commerce Authority. We were strongly encouraged to submit only tracts that have projects with larger amounts of capital investment ready to move as soon as January 2027, when the Opportunity Zone 2.0 starts. If there's a census tract that does not qualify according to the map, there's a possibility of including it if there's a compelling reason, such as the tract area is large and most of the housing is a small portion. And I'm stating that because I had a call just on Friday of an organization, a developer that wanted me to include their tract that's 3 miles out of the current opportunity zone, but they did not let us know in time to be able to go in and work with the Arizona Commerce Authority and submit what the challenges and what the possibilities could be for that tract. So I evaluated the 9 tracts, and as of today, we're submitting 5 of those census tracts that have the projects ready to move forward for the board's approval. I have the ones that did not make the tracts was Dolan Springs, 2 on North Stockton Hill Road, and 1 in Kingman. And I want to quickly just go through Bullhead City Airport. The airport in Bullhead has 3 projects. Bullhead City Center has 12 projects. Colorado City has 6. Griffith, Yucca West, all of that one has, and that's a very large tract that goes from Oatman and parts of Golden Valley down to Yucca and Havasu Heights area. And over to Wickiup, it has 15. And then the White Hills has 9. So those are the ones that rose to the top with the most projects that were ready to go. Once the U.S. Department of Treasury designates census tracts towards the end of the year, our office has funding to set aside to create marketing material to start marketing to people, developers with qualified opportunity funds, and then later to other developers. Once the final opportunity zone map is created, developers will start looking at the map just like they've done in the past and want to invest, even if they don't have to wait the 10 years. They'll want to, and they don't want to wait for the time to mature. They'll still want to invest in the opportunity zone census tracts. This is what ended up happening in Opportunity Zone 1.0. We have several areas that did qualify before. We had developers that invested in those areas, and those census tracts no longer qualify because they've grown so well. So with that, I bring it to the board for a motion to approve the 5 tracts, or if you have any questions.
Thank you, Director. Open it up to the board. Supervisor Martin, thank you.
Yes. Where'd you go?
I'm not sure. I'm here.
Oh, we lost you. Okay, well, I have a question. You say there's 9 in White Hills. What are they?
I don't have them all in front of me, but I can get that to you at a later date.
Is that including Entrada?
Yes.
It does include Entrada.
Yes.
Now, you also mentioned something that really caught my ear, solar. Are you aware of any proposed solar projects up there?
No. Anytime somebody calls me about solar, I let them know exactly how the board feels. That was at the beginning. The solar was at the beginning of the 1.0 opportunity zone, and I discouraged all of them.
Okay. All right. Because you should convey it to them, because I think the board is united in our stand about these converting multiple use into private use and that stuff. So, yeah, continue to tell them. I don't think Mojave County wants to see our lands filled with solar panels, and that's where we are.
I tell them every day that, and data centers every time they call in.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any other discussion? Supervisor Gould, any comments?
I'm going to save my...
All right, thank you, sir. Open it up to a motion. If there's no other discussion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, sir. You've heard that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Ayes appear to have it. Do have it. So ordered. Thank you. Item number 54. Attorney Davis, you want to give the board a caveat? You mentioned that this is...
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So our rules of order, recently revised, require the limit the time that a motion for reconsideration can be made. However, they may be suspended by a vote by the board. Anything not covered by our rules of order are covered by Robert's Rules of Order. That's incorporated in our rules of order. And Robert's Rules of Order says that a motion to suspend the rules is not debatable, which means that the first thing to be considered, the first item out of the gate, is a motion to approve or deny suspending the rules. And based on the outcome of that motion, then the actual item, which in this instance would be setting a public hearing, may be discussed and debated.
Thank you for the clarification on that. I'm going to read the first part of that. A, approve suspending the Mojave County Rules of Order to allow reconsideration of the denial of the adoption of BOS Resolution 2026-80, an amendment to the Mojave County General Plan from a rural development area land use designation to a general commercial land use designation, and a rezone of assessor's parcel 306-24-118 from an AR 10A zone to a CMO commercial manufacturing open lot storage zone to allow for commercial contractor yards and warehouse use in the Golden Valley vicinity, Mojave County, Arizona. Commission recommended approval by unanimous vote. We need to have a motion to approve that, correct?
Approve or deny, whichever the board prefers.
Make a motion to approve the suspension.
Thank you, Supervisor. Do I have a second?
You need to make a motion to but suspend the rules first.
Yes, that's what I did.
Yeah, item A, making a motion on item or section A,
Section A.
54A.
To suspend the rules.
Suspend the rules, is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
That's correct.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second? That's for lack of a second. Attorney Davis, does that nullify 54B?
That would, yes, sir.
Okay. Move to item number 55, discussion only. An update from the Economic Development Department regarding Opportunity Zone. This is Supervisor Gould's item. Supervisor Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was basically blindsided by this economic, what are we calling them? The Opportunity Zone. They change the names of these things so often I forget the name. This Opportunity Zone 2.0. I had constituents calling me wanting to know about it. I was expected to make a vote on this also, and had no information on it other than you sent me a flyer, Mr. Chairman, but that was kind of more a flyer for people that were developing property, not a briefing for the board on what was this program, how was it going to be administered, who's going to decide what areas go in. Basically, I was poorly informed and frankly embarrassed when I get constituents asking me about it and I don't know what's going on. I just think that's a wrong way to conduct business. I'm expected to make a decision. I should be briefed on what we're looking at beforehand, and I shouldn't be blindsided by constituents. And then at the 11th hour, I had no choice but to vote for what was on that list because we're out of time. I don't think that's how that should go. I know more today than I did yesterday about it, but I'm still not happy about it. And that's all I need out of the whole thing. I don't need any, I need no testimony. If anybody else wants to chime in or tell me I'm wrong, that's acceptable too. But I'm not happy about that.
Supervisor Gould?
Sure.
I did reach out to you. I did reach out to your office twice, and I sent your secretary a map when she requested it. But I did try to get a hold of you twice.
I have no record of any email up to that. We searched our email looking for it. We found the map, but other than that, essentially it was the map that came up off of the federal agency's website, basically. But I had no email of any information
It
on
was
the program.
it was through your voicemail. It was through the phone because that's what I was told to do.
I think an email would be a better way to do it. But hopefully we can avoid this kind of stuff in the future.
Yes, sir. I see that you have signed a sheet, opportunity to speak. You want to come down to the podium and state your name and address? Thank you, sir.
My name is Dennis Chalmers. I am a resident of Lake Havasu City. I also own a cabin at Hualapai Mountain, and I also own a piece of industrial property on I-40, adjacent to I-40 in Griffith. I was responsible for bringing the FlowServe facility to Mojave County as chairman of Next Gen Cryogenic Solutions. I sold Next Gen Cryo Solutions pump business to the FlowServe Corporation in July of 2024, and I am presently working with people in the railroad industry to develop a property immediately adjacent to the FlowServe property and to the Griffith generating station. I am a graduate engineer from the University of Alberta in 1961. I graduated in mechanical engineering with a minor in civil engineering. I joined the electrical energy industry in 1961, and I've been practicing as an engineer and as an executive in the energy industry since that time. I am quite aged, as you may detect, but I am still starting a new business, and I expect on that property to provide employment for as many as 150 to 300 people on that job site. I left the province of Alberta in 1961 because I had no job opportunities in Alberta for mechanical engineers at that time, and so I have dedicated as part of my social commitment to work to provide opportunities for people who are born and raised in an area to be able to find job opportunities that will allow them to continue their lives in the place in which they were born if they choose to do so. Those are my social drive. My second social drive at the moment is to make a contribution to the transportation industry, the freight and passenger transportation industry in the United States. I am a naturalized citizen from Canada, and I moved here in 1976, and I have been a dedicated citizen since 1987. My commitment to helping develop the transportation is this. The railroad industry has not been able to maintain their share of the freight transportation business. Beginning as early as 1917, they began the industry share of the freight business has been declined to the point where once upon a time it was 70 or 80% of the total freight transport in this country, to now it's approaching 20%. That is because the railroad industry has not been able to keep up with the regulations that the federal government has imposed upon it, but the federal government is finally waking up, and the future of the railroad industry is becoming more and more clear. The railroad industry suffers from the fact that it cannot compete in terms of delivering product from shippers to consumers in a timely way when compared to the air freight industry, the package delivery industry, and the trucking industry. The trucking industry in particular has gained a huge share of the transportation market, and the fact is they do not pay their fair share in terms of infrastructure, capital cost, nor maintenance cost. If we do not do something to help the railroad industry, and we will soon have no railroad industry, and we will have nothing but more and more trucks on the highways, which, as we all know, contribute to wear and tear on the highways at a rate much greater than the automobile traffic, which pays most of the capital and maintenance costs, deserves. So we are focusing on supporting the rail industry by developing machinery that will improve the fuel efficiency of the operation of trains, and will provide the train industry with an opportunity to move their freight more quickly from shipper to consumer, and become, we hope, more competitive in terms of delivery time with companies like FedEx and UPS. This is my dedication at the moment. We are working on 9 patents. We intend to seek to make it possible for railway trains to travel from one coast of the United States to the other in 20 hours. That compares with between 5 and 7 days today. Our commitment is based on railway technology, vehicle dynamics, and the use of liquefied natural gas as a motor fuel to replace diesel fuel. The LNG is a much cleaner burning fuel than diesel fuel, and is 4 times as cost effective. That will reduce significantly the $11 billion a year the railway industry pays for diesel fuel today. We intend to develop our property here in Mojave County. And in doing so, as I said, we will create jobs for young people. I hope we will have the support of the county. I hope we will have support of the county community colleges in terms of helping us develop programs by which we can train the people that are going to be needed for this crusade. And I guess my time is up.
I'll give you 30 more seconds, sir.
How much?
I'll give you 30 more seconds, okay?
Okay, winding up. I'm here to support the Opportunity Zone. I think it'll take us 4 or 5 years to fully develop our property adjacent to the Flowserve and Griffith generating station, and the opportunities provided by the Opportunity Zone are the vehicle that we will use to make that possible. I look forward to your support for the Opportunity Zone and hope you will all support it. Supervisor Gould, I am available to support Tammy with providing details of the Opportunity Zone to the fullest extent that you may want to. I understand you live in Havasu City, as do I. I can be reached, and I'll leave my contact information. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Supervisor Gould, this was for discussion only?
Discussion only.
Okay.
We can move on.
Move on to item 56. Very good. Approve the temporary suspension of fees associated with the surrender of animals to the county animal shelter effective immediately through September 30th, 2026. Supervisor Gould.
I was contacted by a constituent regarding increased animal dumping in the desert. Whether that's reality or not, I don't know. But I think with the harsh weather that we have in the summertime, it might be something that we want to take a look at. So I put it on the agenda for discussion, so whether we want to take a look at suspending those fees or not.
Manager Strahl, I know that your staff looked into that because several of the district offices received reports.
Thank you,
Whether
Chairman.
those are founded or unfounded. Can you share anything?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I did ask the staff to take a look at what our statistics were, tracking whether there was true dumping versus actual just pickups in the desert area. We saw no appreciable change in the number of pickups from one year to the next and over this last couple of months. So we could not establish any correlation between the increase in fees increasing the number that were being picked up. So we don't know where that linkage was developed, but that's not the data that we're seeing.
I see our animal control folks in the back. Do you guys have any additional testimony that you want to give, or I'll give you the opportunity if you do.
Good morning/afternoon, Chairman and board members. I don't have anything additional to add. I just wanted to provide myself in case there were specific questions from the board.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Did you send a report to the board members as far as looking into this issue, and what did you find?
I just provided a memo to the county manager, and I believe it was sent to the board members. I do have a copy of that as well. And in that memo, there were just statistics that we pull from the animal shelter data from animal control. And the highlights basically being that actually the ACO pickup numbers for puppies specifically were down since we implemented the fee for both April and May. So,
since we have you at the podium, I'm going to open it up to the board if they have any questions or discussion. Supervisor Gould? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Aaron, so what was it, APO pickups?
ACO, Animal Control Officer.
Okay. Are they picking up animals in the desert, or are they're going to people's homes and picking those up?
They would just be stray, so they could be on the street, they could be parking lot, they could be in a remote location. We don't really have a way of knowing that unless they were to pull every intake.
So if people are dumping animals in the desert, unless the animal control officer finds them, they would not make that count.
Well, they would, because when they do the intake form, one of the things they have to do per ARS is that if they believe that it is not just a stray, when they give us the intake form, they have to do an agency hold other, because abandonment is cruelty. So then they have to put a 10-day hold on that dog or animal. But if they put stray, that leads us to believe it was a stray animal.
But if they didn't find the animal, it would never go into your stats.
If they don't know, if a member of the public does,
Right.
correct.
So if they dump the pups and the pups die and they aren't found,
Correct.
or they get eaten by coyotes, then they're not.
They would not be part of the
It would not
statistics.
make your numbers.
You're
Thank you,
correct.
ma'am.
Yep.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Additional discussion, and I'd open it up for a motion.
I think this requires an action.
Item 55 was discussion only. Item 56, which we're on right now, is discussion and possible action. So I'd entertain additional discussion or a possible motion. Supervisor Martin?
Well, I was told by the sheriff's office that this was not, and I think the county manager has reflected that the sheriff's office people, the animal control people, they have not seen an increase in desert dumping since the increase of the fees. So we're talking about something that, the sheriff's department says is not real, but maybe somebody else has some different information.
Ma'am, you have your hand raised up. Did you fill a form out?
Got to come to the podium.
Go ahead and come to the podium. If you want to give 3 minutes of testimony, I'll allow it. You'd state your name state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you very much, board members. I am Joy Bancroft from Golden Shores. I live on Linden and Golden Shores. I disagree. I've seen a lot of stuff about finding puppies out in the desert. There was a lady that rescued a dog out of one of the river canals. So we don't have any proof that they're dumping these animals. But why all of a sudden is there an uptick on social media of finding animals in the desert, finding more in the streets, wandering the streets, and they're perfectly looking healthy animals, and they're ending up calling animal control. So, or I think a lot of people just hold on to them or have said that if I take it to the animal shelter, then I got to pay to leave it. So it's inhumane. I mean, these animals are out there in this heat, and y'all know it's going to get worse. So here they are out there trying to survive, and most of them probably won't. So open it up, suspend the fee, because the summer's going to be hot and ugly, and so suspend the fees so that these animals have a chance to be adopted. We all know everybody's doing a great job of getting these animals adopted in these shelters. All the other organizations that coordinate with the shelters, they're doing a great job. I'm trying to adopt a pet right now, a dog, and I'm looking for a specific one. Sorry for being so picky, but I'm happy to adopt something that was dumped, that the shelters took and didn't think twice about accepting that animal. So that's my point. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, with your hand up, and then I'll call you back up, Aaron. Thank you. I'll let you have 3 minutes. State your name and address, please.
Diana Francis, Golden Shores. I just like to request, I agree with Joy, there's been a lot of it that we've seen in Golden Shores. At least suspend the fees for the summer. If you don't do it for long, at least for the summer, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron, you want to come back up? To address your point, I've seen a lot on social media too, but I think we have to not take what we see on social media at face value. I also saw a picture with Trump with a couple of blonde guys that looked like they were from like Lord of the Rings or something. Like they're having a secret meeting with aliens or something like that. So that was on social media. I don't think that that's true. Go ahead, Aaron.
I just wanted to comment, we do not charge for stray animals. So if a member of the public brings us a stray, we take it for free. This is an owner surrender fee. meaning it's rightfully your animal. So to date, we have never charged for a stray animal if you find one.
It's important clarification.
So you can keep bringing stray animals to us. It's just the owner surrender, meaning you have your dog, you cannot care for it. You're calling to ask if we can take it. It's your dog.
Open it up to the board. Mr. Chairman. Supervisor Gould, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Aaron, if they brought a litter of pups, though, they're going to get charged.
They are not if they found them.
If they found them,
That's
but
what
if the owner of the pups brings the pups, they're going to get charged.
if they say these are my dogs and we have proof they are the dogs, that is what the board approved, and so we honor that. So
if they're honest and
it's an
fess
honor
up.
system.
I'm not blaming you. I'm the one that voted for it, but I'm just trying to clarify.
Correct. We do not. So we actually err on the side of the person bringing it in because we've had several instances where people have lied to us, but we don't have proof of it, and we don't charge a fee.
So it's basically a donation then.
They don't pay for it if they say it's not my dog, and we don't have a microchip to say that it is. So we take the animal, always. We are an open intake.
Thank you.
It's kind of like the honor system. And before the state takes away our ability to ask if people have a way to pay for an attorney, it's an honor system.
And to date, we have taken in $3,000 in surrender fees, so we do have honest people out there.
Thank you, Aaron. Any other questions for Aaron? I think you had your 3 minutes already, didn't you, Angel? Didn't you sign up for this? Okay, come on down. I'll give you 3 minutes. Thank you. State your name and address.
Angel Lund, 4141 North Dragoon Road, Golden Valley.
Thank you.
My only comment is I know an older lady who was going into a nursing home, assisted living, just this past 2 weeks, that went to and had to surrender her dog, but didn't have the $25 or whatever it was to surrender it. But she, naturally, this is my dog, I have to go. What does she do? Luckily, we found somebody to help her. But there is no help for people that don't have the money that need to surrender their animals. Not normally, anyway, unless somebody, out of their kindness of their heart, pays that fee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Gould, thank you.
I move that the board suspend the surrender intake fee temporarily until October 1st of this year.
You've heard that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second that.
Additional discussion? Aaron, one last question. Seeing that this item was on the agenda, has there been just a rough calculation based upon what you guys have taken in already, what the impact would be as far as dollar amounts if we just suspend this for the summer?
Well, roughly for the 2 months we've had it so far, we're taking in about $1,500 a month. So I guess if we're suspending it for a few months, $1,500 roughly a month for the suspension.
Okay.
So whatever the board would like to do.
About 4,500.
Roughly. It's only been 2 months, so we don't have a pattern to truly say if it's 2,000 or 1,000
Sure.
a month.
Supervisor Borelli?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Do you leave it in your discretion of, for example, the lady that said she's going into assisted living, she's indigent, do you have the flexibility to just waive it on your own?
Actually, we have the Friends of Mojave County, our nonprofit, and they step in and offer to assist members of the public as well. So they have paid the fees for those who cannot.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Gould, thank you, sir.
So the Friends could then pony up the $5,000 and we would be square and they wouldn't have an intake fee. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? We do have a motion and a second. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? I appear to have it, do have it, so ordered. Thank you, Board. We'll move to item number 57. Discussion, possible action, request a summary of the county's approach to obtaining grant funding from public and private sources, specifically what grant search engine funding and licensing sources are used, if any. Supervisor Lettman, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Grant funding obviously is an important source of revenue for the county, and I think the county has done a very good job with organic searching. We see it all across public safety, public health, roads, facilities. My office has been looking into helping the library and Davis Camp look at more opportunities for grant funding, and we're actually quite interested in grant funding from private sources. And I was surprised to see that we actually don't have a centralized software to search for these and manage these grants. Now, here in Bullhead City, the city uses a program, and I think Kingman does also, called eCivis, and they use it quite successful. Okay, and it's very good. And I'm asking the county staff, and I assume they have a presentation today ready on what is our approach towards centralizing grant funding and managing the entire process.
Director McDaniel.
Morning, Board. While I am not the grant manager for the county, I am the chief information officer for the county, and I was tasked with doing some research regarding what the county does for grant management software. And I would tell you that the strategy and the method we use today is that county staff that operate in the various departments that operate grants are the ones seeking the grants, managing the grants, and reporting on the grants. Today, the county receives and operates approximately $69 million worth of grants, I believe is on the books for fiscal year 27. I checked that number with our CFO just before I got up here. And the grants we receive are predominantly federal and state pass-through grants, and there is an extremely small number of private grants the county currently operates. I believe the Parks Department is receiving and operating some very small private grants. But at this point in time, lack of a budget initiative or any identified funding, we have not gone to the level of doing formal demos with anybody in the mission to preserve the procurement process. You know, we don't really know how much a solution like this is going to cost us on an annual level, so we're not really at a point where we can start engaging vendors and conducting demos. More likely, we would need to identify specifications and do a formal procurement on a central solution for the entire county.
Manager Strahl, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I did want to point out that because we've done some preliminary investigation as to what the software can possibly do, but we have not gone to the next level because we're concerned that if we were, then we would have to go through a procurement process. So if the direction from the board is to proceed, then we would ask for a budget and we would proceed from a procurement standpoint to investigate this software or any other software by seeing what it needs it can solve with what we're looking for from a grant application standpoint.
Tara, did you have a testimony to give this morning? This afternoon?
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon. I'm just inserting myself in this discussion. We've had a couple of things recently where we are looking at software solutions for various needs. And from the procurement standpoint, we would just caution doing individual demos with software providers if we haven't vetted what the county's actual need is. It puts us in a position of not full transparency. It puts us in a position where somebody else that may think they can provide a better software solution but wasn't considered may say that there is, I'm trying to think the right words here, that we did an anti-competitive practice. And so I've talked to Nathan about this with some other software possible purchase as well. Our approach would be, if the board would like us to have a countywide software for any kind of purpose, is to work with procurement, work with IT, so that we go through a process of identifying what the county's needs are. There are multiple ways that we can purchase software. We can identify available software under cooperative contracts that meet our needs. We can do an RFI to actually ask the community that produces those type of software to tell us what they can provide and what contracts exist. Or we can do a county-led procurement process. when we interrupt that at any point by allowing specific demos from a software provider, it looks like we're giving preferential treatment to a particular software provider. And so I would just bolster what Manager Strahl and what Director McDaniel have said, in that if we want to go this route, I'd like us to take a more proactive approach and not bring procurement in to be reactive and try to find a solution that will let you buy some particularly identified software.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Supervisor Lettman, thank you.
I don't think anybody's suggesting you're being reactive, but I would recommend that there be a proactive approach, and frankly, it gets started. And you can certainly check in with the big cities in the county. All three of them use managed software for procuring grants. And obviously, this is done extensively throughout the country and the state. So again, nobody's asking you to be reactive or show favoritism. Let's just get started.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Supervisor Lettman. And I'm not accusing anyone of doing that. I'm taking the opportunity at the podium to say whenever we're considering any type of purchase, when departments do the research on their own or go out and do demos on their own for things and then come to us and ask us to bless it, there are times that they've spoiled the process and then we're kind of behind the eight ball. I think what I'm saying, and I think it's also what Director McDaniel was saying, is if this is something the board would like us to do on behalf of the county, if we can identify a funding source, if we can identify a limit of what you'd like us to look at, then we can work collaboratively with IT and the departments that get grant funding or might benefit from grant funding to identify what the county's needs are so that we can move this forward.
Okay, well then I'll go ahead and take the lead and I'll put it on the agenda for future meetings, and we'll see what the board comes up with in terms of providing direction for how we want to go. Obviously, we're not going to do that today, but that would be my approach.
Thank you, Supervisor Lettman. This is on the agenda for possible action. Did you want to call for a vote today, or are you going to, is this just for discussion today, or what?
No, let's just keep this at for information only, and I'll come back at a later date with something more concrete.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any other discussion from anybody else? All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Move to item number 58. County Manager to return to the board within 90 days with recommendations. I'm not going to read all those into the record. It's rather long. Last budget session this time around, the majority of the board, there's a lot of talk about zero-based budgeting. We decided that because the procurement department was 100% discretionary, 100% general funded, that we would start with them as the pilot department. We had performance metrics that were programmed into the budget, and it was my understanding that we were going to do a review at the end of fiscal year to see how it went. I've attached some information from the District 1 office regarding, they had metrics regarding business retention and expansion, business attraction and investment, tourism destination development, and for a trade zone. And we have been in contact with the County Manager's office from District 1. We just don't think that a lot of those metrics were achieved. And in addition to that, there may be a duplication of effort under workforce development, for instance. That might be duplicative. Workforce development services already provided by Mojave Community College, the Advanced Manufacturing Training Center, Arizona at Work, Mojave County Community Development or Community Services Department, their workforce folks that Michael Smith has for permitting and development assistance, development review, permitting assistance, project coordination, environmental review, floodplain administration, development support services. All of those are already performed by Mojave County Development Services, Public Works, Planning and Zoning, Building Safety, Flood Control, Health Department where applicable when it comes to sanitary requirements for a business, infrastructure development, public infrastructure, planning, engineering, design, construction, maintenance, coordination. That's already performed by Public Works, Flood Control, utility providers, municipalities, ADOT, broadband providers, private developers, business compliance and navigation. Already taken care of through development services, procurement, community services, Mojave Community College, municipalities, chambers of commerce, Arizona Commerce Authority, Arizona at Work, tourism, function was recently integrated with county parks operations to better align destination marketing with recreation, special events, visitor services, and getting more people into our parks. I think most of us would agree that government does not directly create jobs. All we can do is create an environment where the private sector can thrive and create jobs on its own. This item simply asks the board to direct the county manager to come back with recommendations on the economic development function within 90 days. And I would open it up to the board for discussion. If there's no discussion, I would make a motion to approve the item as presented.
Second.
I'll second. Yeah.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes appear to have it, do have it, so ordered. Call to the public. Ken Works. Kenny Works. Scotty McClure. Armin, you're on deck.
Scotty from Bullhead. I thought I signed up for number 53, but I guess not. As far as I'm concerned, this is nothing but welfare for businesses. I'm tired of supporting businesses like they want to, whatever. The Laughlin Bullhead International Airport and Zone Industrial Park is run by, might as well be run just like a zoo. They can't figure out nothing down there. It's a fiasco. Bullhead City Center. Why in the hell should I pay them anything or give them anything out of my tax dollars? Colorado City. I wish you'd put it on the agenda to get rid of them. Anything north of the Grand Canyon, give it to Utah. I'm sick of Colorado City. I don't know that much about Oatman, Yucca, whatever. Let them, if somebody wants to move there and put something in, let them have it. But I shouldn't have to foot the bill for welfare for businesses. Did you know that Obama Library is about ready to open, I think in a couple days, there, 19th or whatever? You have to show an ID to get in the building. But guess what? When you go vote, try that at the Ronald Reagan Library. I bet you don't have to show an ID in California. But go to Chicago, the South Side. What a beautiful place that is. I've worked there before. Wow. But you got to have an ID to get into the dump. Yeah, 17 million, 14 million, whatever. It's unbelievable that Obama would pull that crap. Somebody pulled some strings. Now I'm offering a $100 reward for anybody stealing my signs. I've got, I don't know, yeah. If you see somebody stealing that one, guess who that's going, that arrow is pointing to? You know, it's a guy from Lake Havasu. You steal this beautiful sign, my God, you ought to be put in prison. Yeah, this one's, you can guess, this is Bullhead City only. That one look guilty? You know who I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah, Tammy. I don't know, did I show this one already? Oh, okay. Guess who that is, Mr. School Board from Lake Havasu? I didn't get his daddy's number from the Department of Corrections. It's a family affair in prison. And
Armin Steen. Son Reagan, you're on deck.
I'm in Stunga, Fort Mojave, a.k.a. the German. Yeah, well, we have another problem in Fort Mojave with squatters. And behind Safeway, it's becoming a dumping ground again with trash and everything else. And I see more and more people with out-of-state license plates feeding the pigeons. It's getting annoying. You know, we have already a big enough pigeon problem around here, and then they come from California or what other state, and they start feeding the pigeons in the parking lot. That's ridiculous. And then, y'all, I understand we need business, but we do need an infrastructure. We don't have the infrastructure in Fort Mojave, period. 95 at 3 o'clock is a bitch to drive. You know, you sit in front of a signal, it takes 3 turns to go through the signal. That's almost like driving in LA or Phoenix or Las Vegas. It's getting worse and worse here with traffic. And then I really would appreciate if the road department or public works does a traffic study on Cavalry Road. Then, since they have the storage units back there, there's boats going in and out all day long, trucks, semi-trucks, everything going up and down Cavalry Road. They do the traffic count on Valencia, and everybody takes Cavalry Road. Valencia is just to go in and around. Nobody checks traffic on Cavalry Road. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sean Reagan? Doesn't look like he's here. We are adjourned.